We begin the 2025 NFL playoffs at the site in which Jim Harbaugh's college football career ended in triumph, Houston, Texas. Now he is back in the NFL with the Los Angeles Chargers in his second go-around in the National Football League. He'll begin against the Texans in his journey to get his Chargers on a potential deep playoff run. Should be an exciting first game with old school defensive football from what it looks like. Hello everyone, I am Alec. Now we're back to 100% full health, by the way, joined here by Owen and also known as Redbox. How are we today?
Good afternoon, Alec. I am pumped. It was my birthday yesterday. We went out on the town, had a delicious rack of ribs for dinner, and then went to the bar afterwards on campus, and it was awesome, and I'm pumped for the football today. I've got myself a blueberry ale, Forgotten Lake by Lake of the Woods Breweries. Lake of the Woods Brewing Company. I'm ready for a great matchup. I think Houston has something to prove today. And I've got two upsets. I've got Houston winning today, and I've got the Steelers pulling off the impossible.
Hey, first of all, I want to wish you a happy belated birthday to your Redbox.
Yeah, thanks. I don't think I'm friends with you on Facebook. I'll have to send you over the picture of that rack of ribs. It was beautiful. It was so good.
Well, I don't use Facebook a lot, but if you could send it over to me, then that would be amazing because ribs always catch anyone's attention.
Oh, hell yeah. And it was this place called Chuck's Roadhouse. I don't know what this converts to in the U.S., but $22 for a full rack of ribs.
Wow. Those ribs have to be good.
With fries.
Double the fun there.
And manageable portions, too. Like, you don't get a full rack of ribs and then, like, a huge honking pile of fries. It's like a huge rack of ribs and just fries to kind of go along with it. Like, I went out for lunch yesterday to a burger place. Huge burger, huge portion of fries. It was too much. But I'm ready. I've got my favorite commentary team on, or at least analysis team, Sky Sports NFL out of the UK. They do a masterful job at analysis during the commercial breaks. I got that on in the background. I'm ready to go. I probably won't be here the entire game because I have to go watch some friends play something at 6 o'clock. But we'll see. If the game's good, I will make it work.
Hey. Anything is flexible here up at this broadcast booth between the Spaces and Twitch.
Oh yes, I forgot we're on Twitch.
Yep. Yeah, I do streaming platforms over there as well for this play-by-play, which is for this opening game, the Chargers and the Texans. We can anticipate this to be a low-scoring matchup between the two sides, the Chargers and Texans. They specialize in defensive football. We know what the Chargers are about. Ground and pound football. The Texans, on the other hand, they saw a regression from C.J. Stroud. His sophomore slump was very infamous. 12 interceptions as opposed to 5 last year. But the other side effect of what that this has to do is what I perceive it to be, that the Texans are playing a first-place schedule. They won the AFC South last year, and they won the AFC South this year. But because added expectations are right there, that there are going to be heightened expectations for a playoff team that's looking to keep this up. The Texans are rather on and off. Not defensively, though.
Yeah, disappointing season by C.J. Stroud standards, if we can even say that yet. For C.J. Stroud. Came in as a rookie quarterback last year, absolutely lit up the league. Just doesn't seem to have it this year. I'm not ready to give up on him. I think it's interesting. We saw C.J. Stroud get off to a great start and then kind of slack off during the later part of the season. And then another young quarterback who we'll be seeing tomorrow, Bo Nix, had probably the one of the worst starts of rookie quarterbacks outside of Caleb Williams I've seen, and then completely rebounded towards the end of the season.
And we also are going to see another one of those young quarterbacks tomorrow on the nighttime. I won't be around for tomorrow's Commanders game, but Jaden Daniels may solidify himself as Offensive Rookie of the Year with the season he has put up.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, you won't be on for Packers-Eagles either. Man, we've got to, well, assuming the Packers win, we've got to set it up for the divisional round. We've got to do a game. We got to do the Packers game for the divisional round if they make it, which I'm cautiously optimistic about. But
well, the reason as to being such as that me not being around tomorrow is that I'll attend the Hurricanes game. That's a 5 o'clock game, by the way. Eric Stahl will get his jersey number retired tomorrow.
Who are they playing?
I believe it's the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, Eric Stahl, Thunder Bay boy.
Yep, Thunder Bay native. And his younger brother Jordan will be playing tonight. It's got to be a special night for the Stahl family.
Which is where I call home for the majority of the year, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, gotta love Thunder Bay. You feel me?
You do. You really do. They got, well, actually, there's not a whole lot going on in Thunder Bay.
Well, hopefully it will be more eventful over in the future in Thunder Bay.
Yeah, I mean, our university hockey team is terrible this year. Our basketball team is one of the best in the country, though. I think we got a shot at the national championship. I know you guys probably didn't even know we had a national college basketball. Well, we don't call it college basketball, university basketball championship here. But we are. I'd be surprised if we weren't ranked. Actually, I haven't looked at the national rankings. They do publish rankings just like they do for NCAA, but they're not widely circulated, unfortunately.
It's a different branding in Canada, is it?
Yeah, it's run by an organization called U Sports, which literally is just short for University Sports. So creative, I know.
Yep.
And they used to be called CIS, Canadian Inter-University Sport, which personally I preferred that name. But yeah, different branding, nowhere near as prestigious. I don't think it's produced any NBA talent.
Well, perhaps in the future there could be.
Maybe. I don't know. Now that we've got the National Basketball League, or the CEBL, the Canadian Elite Basketball League, maybe. I'm optimistic, but
about the future.
Very, yes.
Almost set for game time here in Houston. Of course, we can see a competitive edge on both of these defenses. Of course, that Texans defense with several headliners. Will Anderson Jr., Derek Stingley Jr. Those are two of the top selections in which they are taken in their draft. Anderson being the defensive rookie of the year last season. Stingley being the number one lockdown corner. Arguably, he has a case for being the best defensive corner in his draft class now.
Yeah, absolutely. Defensive rookie last year, having a great season so far this year. We're definitely in for a defensive game today, and I'm going to be the first to admit, I'm not a huge fan of pure defensive football. I'm more of a new age guy when it comes to the NFL, which is completely against where I am in every other sport that I watch. Can't stand the new NBA, can't stand the new NBA. I guess new MLB. I like a lot of the changes, but yeah, this should be a fun one. It's going to be good defensive football, hopefully at least. If you want an example of bad defensive football, look no further than the Packers and Bears game last Sunday. That was unwatchable, and yet somehow I watched more than half of it.
Well, that I don't even want to mention that game. But if you want exciting shootouts, Buccaneers Commanders may be the place for you. Another potential matchup, Bills-Ravens, which could be a divisional round matchup next week.
Well, and speaking of the Ravens, that one tonight is intriguing because you've got the Ravens led by their quarterback / running back, depending on who you ask, Lamar Jackson, and the extremely defensively minded Steelers. It'll be an interesting counterbalance. I'll be flipping between that and Leafs Canucks and Jets Avalanche, which that will be a fun game tonight. I think I really don't know what we're going to get out of that. It is probably the most intriguing matchup of the first round in terms of what we could see. The Ravens are heavy favorites. I don't buy it.
You know, even as a Steelers fan myself, I may actually buy the Ravens being heavy favorites given how slow we look to end off the season. But that end of the season schedule is going to hurt us no matter what. Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals as their final 4 opponents, that's a killer part of the schedule. And it bit us very hard. So it's understandable how the Ravens, they are coming up a time in which they figure things out defensively, and with Lamar Jackson playing his best football, even better than last year's MVP season, one can say he should be MVP again, and reasonably so. But we, historically, have had the Ravens number. But this was before the Ravens got Derek Henry into the mold. Now that Henry's in the mix, there's no knowing how this game at Baltimore is going to go. They beat us and then some in the second of 2 matchups this season. So there's no knowing how it's going to go here.
Yeah, Steelers-Ravens, as you said, historically been dominated by Pittsburgh. But it's a new era. Well, first of all, it's a new era in both cities. I'm not sure how I feel about Russell Wilson at the helm. I don't know. I've always been kind of skeptical of that choice. For the majority of the season, he was at least. But the Ravens, the Lamar Jackson era has been good to them. And will we see more of that tonight? I don't know. I think this Steelers defense, if this is even possible, I don't think it's being given enough credit. I think the slump towards the end of the season, I wouldn't read too much into that. The Steelers were going to the playoffs. You know, I think we see a rebound here tonight. But that's in 4 hours, and we've got another game that is just about to kick off. And Splash One Sports listening in the observation room.
Yeah, Splash One Sports. It's nice of you to listen along to this cast. As here, so as we get onto our starting lineups, beginning with the visiting Chargers. So as we begin with them, Josh Palmer is ruled out for this game due to injury. He is normally starting opposite Quentin Johnson as the other outside receiver. Under center, Justin Herbert. Running back, JK Dobbins. Receivers are Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey, and Simi Fehoko, who was just activated from the IR. Will Disley as the tight end. The offensive line is Rashawn Slater, Zion Johnson, Bradley Bozeman, Jamari Salyer, and Joe Alt. Trey Pipkins has also been ruled out due to injury. Defensive starting 11, Pona Ford and Morgan Fox as the defensive linemen, Tuli Tuipulotu and Khalil Mack, the outside edge rushers, linebackers Deion Henley and Denzel Perryman, outside corners are Cam Hart and Christian Fulton, the slot corners Tarheeb Still, deep safeties Derwin James and Aloy Gilman. Kicker is Cameron Dicker, the punter is J.K. Scott, long snapper Josh Harris, returnman Darius Davis and Hassan Haskins. Houston starting 11 on offense begins with C.J. Stroud and Joe Mixon as the backs deep. Nico Collins and Xavier Hutchinson, the outside receivers. John Mechie III is the slot receiver. Dalton Schultz, the tight end. Offensive line from left to right. Laramie Tunsil, Titus Howard, Jarrett Patterson, Juice Scruggs, and Blake Fisher. No Shaq Mason for them. He is ruled out to injury. Defensive starting 11. Up front is Tim Settle Jr. and Foley Fatukasi. Outside defensive ends are Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. Linebackers are Henry To'oTo'o, Azeez Al-Shaair, and Neville Hewitt. Outside corners, Derek Stingley Jr. and Kamari Lassiter. Deep safeties, Eric Murray and Kellen Bullock. Kicker is Kaimi Fairbairn. Punter, Tommy Townsend. Long snapper, John Weeks. Returnman, Damian Pierce and Robert Woods. So those are your starting lineups.
Yeah, I do like the Steelers continuing to go with Herbert. And how about Ladd McConkey? What a strong rookie season for him as well. And I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough.
Justin Herbert loves going to his slot receivers. Whether it be Jake and Owen in the past or Ladd McConkey now, the slot receiver position has to be arguably the strongest receiver position over at the Chargers. McConkey's filling in that hole nicely in the place of the departed Allen.
Yeah, 100%. Be interesting. I believe we're about to get underway here.
Soon enough. So, as we are now on the preview still, there are a dozen Chargers players that are making their playoff debuts. That includes the 2023 draft class. That includes Quentin Johnston, Deion Henley, and of course, the rookie class is also included. Ladd McConkey, Joe Alt included there. But also making their playoff debut is Rashawn Slater. He was injured 2 years ago when the Chargers infamously blew that 27-point lead and lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars at Everbank Stadium. Playoff nerves.
Yeah, what a game that was.
Yeah, chaotic. We didn't know what to expect of that one. I think, and it was insane to me because I expected the Chargers to blow a 17-point lead in the Jaguars to win as such, but not a 27-point lead.
All right.
We have Jim Harbaugh over the sideline. Texans won the coin toss. They will defer. They are in the deep steel blue uniforms. Chargers in the white uniforms. Yellow sweatpants. Davis is back deep to return. Fairbairn will kick it off to Davis. And our referee for this game is Lan Clark, wearing the uniform number 130. Paul King is the umpire. Tom Stefon, the down judge. Jeff Hutchin, the line judge. Jabir Walker, field judge. Dominique Pender, side judge. Brad Freeman is the back judge. Replay officials and assistant Boris Cheek and Dino Paganelli. As Fairbairn is getting ready to get the signal on, his Houston crowd is loud. I was just here about over a week ago to visit family, but that's over in the past now. Houston is prepared for this game, a potential defensive battle between two of the league's elite defenses in the Space City. Fairbairn is all set. The officials have blown the whistles, and Fairbairn is set to get the signal off. He is set. He will kick it up. The 2025 playoffs are underway. Let's get rocking and rolling. Davis returns to this left side. Has a seam and brought down at the 27 to begin with.
Oh, man. So a very short return to start this one. We can get into the merits of even bothering to return the ball, I'm sure, at another point now with the expanded touchback yardage. But
that can also be a factor. Also, Justin Herbert, he has not thrown an interception on the road in 260 consecutive pass attempts. That can go to his favor. Scott Matlock is out there as the fullback for this first play from scrimmage. As Ladd McConkey is motioning right. Of course, it's a run play for the first play at the game for the Chargers because it is a Jim Harbaugh team, as Dobbins gets 2 yards on the first play, up the middle. And Ian Eagle noted no Trey Pipkins at right guard due to injury. Matlock, the fullback, in the game to begin with. So, as we look at the injury list, Pipkins is dealing with an oblique injury, Palmer with a foot injury.
Some definitely somewhat significant losses there, at least. You would think.
You would think, but the Chargers so far are not deterred. They get a first down on the second play from scrimmage. 8 yards exact from Dobbins. Exactly what they needed for the first down. Henry Toto with the tackle, an Alabama product, alongside his teammate Christian Harris. Sam Mustipher was an extra offensive lineman on that last play, the former Chicago Bear and one-time Baltimore Raven, native of Owings Mills, Maryland, which is just around the Baltimore area. First down here from the 37-yard line. It's a play fake to Dobbins. Herbert through the middle, bread and butter, 10 yards exact, another first down. Guess who? Ladd the Rad Ladd.
Yes, indeed. The Chargers doing exactly what they need to on these first 3 plays of this one. Ladd McConkey, man. I'm telling you, one of the most, I think the most underrated players in terms of talent. Not talked about enough. Making his mark early.
The Georgia product really is making his mark. Oh, Herbert just fit that through a tight window, and it's Will Dissly through 2 Texans, getting 7 yards right between Azeez Al-Shaair and Henry Toto. Of course, Herbert, not talked about enough in terms of quarterbacks who can be at that upper tier. He is an elite quarterback. This year, he has the fewest interceptions thrown in a season throughout his career, with just 3 in comparison to his 23 touchdowns thrown this season. Chargers are in Texans territory. Back to the ground game they go. Dobbins with a first down, past the 40-yard line, and down at the 37 in Texans territory. They are rolling. 8 yards on that run.
And what a run. The Chargers scratching at the door of field goal range.
It's makeable for Cameron Dicker from this area. They're at the 38. A field goal from this position would be 56 yards. It is a long kick, but if you were to kick a field goal, you would certainly want to be closer. But the Chargers are thinking 6 and not 3. Play fake. Herbert looks left, rolls out that side. On the run, the catch. First down near the 20 by Tucker Fisk, 42 and white.
Oh, man.
And an injury on the play, that is Azeez Al-Shaair. Just as we were speaking about it, as Herbert, he was on the run towards the left. Al-Shaair was injured on the tackle, and he is getting looked at by the Texans medical staff. 3 minutes and 38 seconds in.
Al-Shaair, of course, suspended earlier in the season for, I believe it was only 1 game. Am I correct?
That was because of that altercation in which he ignited when he delivered a late blow to Trevor Lawrence, ending T-Law's season.
Mm-hmm.
So we are stepping away for this moment. Al-Shaair being examined for the time being. And as we take a look around, you did bring up some hockey earlier. Well, we do have a final score in hockey. And it was a thriller over at the area where the defending champions preside. But even for the Florida Panthers tying the game with 3 seconds left, David Pastrnak won the game on a wacky bounce right in front with 2 seconds left in overtime on a 4-on-3 power play.
The Panthers were shockingly heavy favorites in this one. I was very skeptical of that. Yeah.
They say it's very hard to kill a zombie.
Of course, the Panthers, they would play the Bruins, I believe, if the playoffs started today.
All depends on the standings. As we take a look at the NHL standings, the wild card, the Panthers, they would play the Bruins if the playoffs begin today. But the Lightning, they played 39 games, and they could take Atlantic spot number 3 at any time. So I would assume that it would be changed anytime soon. Washington has the top Metro Division spot. Best team in the Eastern Conference by record as well.
And, of course, the Lightning, they would play the Leafs. 4 years ago, I would have said that is ridiculous. And I mean, it probably still is. That's a first-round matchup. But the Leafs absolutely could take them. We got Matthews, who's really, really insistent on staying in so he can play the Four Nations face-off. We've been fine without him, though. We've been absolutely fine without him. Vancouver's coming to town tonight. I'll at least keep an eye on it, but I'm expecting that should be a pretty sound victory. I'll be more interested in Jets Avalanche, and I say that as a Leafs fan. I know.
Some revenge in the factor for what happened in the first round last season for the Jets, knowing they got demolished by the Avalanche. After winning the first game, they lost 4 straight in true crushing fashion. Back in this game is Herbert. Herbert looking towards the end zone, overthrows man McConkey. Second down here as Kalen Bullock was also in range to potentially make an interception. McConkey tried to one-hand that as it was over his head, but it was deflected way wide of Bullock. Breakout rookie defender for the Texans, and he is taking the place of the injured Jalen Petrie. 3 rushes, 4 passes so far in this drive. They've gone 50 yards so far. Disley motions left and right. This is another play fake. Herbert, dump off throw towards the right side for Disley. It's a tight end screen. Does he have enough for the first down? I believe he does. They'll check the spot though, but it might be right around the edge of first down. Unless if they mark him inches short.
I don't see them having any problems making it, even if it is a little bit short. As you said, literal inches. So.
Yep, they marked him short. Fern and half a yard to go, but good blocking scheme set up by Joe Alt, the right tackle. Scott Matlock motions towards the fullback position. Dobbins is the running back. Dobbins gets it. He's surrounded and swarmed, trying to get some yardage. Can't. Foley Fadakazi was the first one there. 2-2-2. And that will force the Chargers to kick the field goal from Cameron Dicker.
Absolutely brutal denial there from the Texans defense. Wow. Chargers I would almost say effortlessly drove down the field until that third and nothing.
That was basically essentially a gimme. Dicker. He squeaks this one inside the right upright. 35 yards out, no problem for him. He converted the first successful free kick try since 1976. That's a 48-year gap in between free kicks. But no free kick was needed here. Chargers on the board first. Texans will have the ball next up.
And that's funny you bring up the free kick rule, because back in the early days of the NFL, the free kick was actually fairly common. And of course, you bring Jim Harbaugh into this. In his post-game interview in that game, he was basically like to the media, yeah, we practiced that in practice this week. Like, of course you did. Of course you did.
I mean, it's a knowing the rules moment, and by the rules, it's legal, 100%.
And Jim Harbaugh is one of those tactical coaches. He knows all the ins and outs of the game. One of the, of course, spent years coaching the Michigan Wolverines. You have to. If you're moving between the NFL and NCAA, you have to be a tactical coach. You've got to know the rule books inside and out. Lots of important differences, many of which I think the NCAA gets right. So I'm surprised to no one, I'm sure, but. Of course, Jim Harbaugh practiced that the week before, and just happened to come up.
What a coincidence. Or is it? Probably not. Oh. Then it's also interesting how this venue was the very location of last year's national championship game. And this year the playoffs begin here at Houston at NRG Stadium. It may be very poetic that Jim Harbaugh he won here for his national championship with Michigan, and if he would come out to win here on his first playoff game back in the NFL.
And of course, the turnover at Michigan was just nothing short of remarkable. They went from one of the best teams in the country to a complete non-factor. In their opener against Texas, they got absolutely steamrolled.
and it almost looks like that time in which they beat Ohio State this year may be put onto the wayside because they beat Ohio State in that defensive nail-biter, which I feel was an absolute slugfest of a game. They woke up a sleeping giant out of Ohio State. Kick is up from Cameron Dicker, and this will be going towards the end zone. But Michigan didn't just beat Ohio State, they woke up a sleeping giant out of them. I'm convinced now.
Yeah, and speaking of Ohio State, Texas, I didn't catch much of that game. I did watch the 10 minutes I got to watch the Pat McAfee Fieldcast. Truly one of the best things ESPN has ever done. They had Tony Hinchcliffe on. He is hilarious. It was great.
CJ Stroud and company leading the way with the Space City uniforms. This is a new evolution of the uniforms. Certainly has that space feel onto it, knowing that it's the theme of Houston. Stroud on his first pass. It's dumped off. Ball is out and recovered by Derwin James. Just on the first completion, the Chargers get it right back in prime field position.
Talk about a recovery. See, this is what we meant when we said this is going to be a game of good defensive football, and I've got to step out after this drive. One of my friends wants to go watch the game with me, so we're going to go do that. But I will stick around to see what the Chargers do with prime field position right here.
It was John Mechie on the catch, but it was poked free by Alohi Gilman. James had the recovery, and the Chargers still start from the Texans 33. So they are now in prime field position to capitalize off this turnover. Derwin James, who is the best safety not named Kyle Hamilton in the NFL right now. In my opinion, he was the one in the recovery, but Gilman, another underrated piece to this Chargers defense. James, of course, gets a lot of headlines. Gilman is someone that is worth mentioning, but that knee almost seemed to be down. The Texans, they can still challenge this on the basis that Mechie had the knee down by contact. The challenge window is still open as of now, and it's close now. Here it is, Edwards, 8 yards on the run.
Well, yeah, too early. No, that's the right move. Let it go. Let it go. Save your challenge. Of course, everyone's going to talk about this on Monday morning. They're going to be like, it's going to be a 3-point game, and they're going to be like, if the Texans is only challenged in the first quarter. But no, you got to save your challenges. I completely agree with that decision.
Yeah, hold on to all 3 of your timeouts. You do not want to lose yourself a timeout this early in the game. I mean, 6 minutes have elapsed. As Dobbins slowed down once, twice. That was actually Edwards. He was slowed down twice, but powered through it all. Another first down for the Chargers.
And the Chargers, once again, looking effortless as they drive down the field, but will they once again be stopped just short of the end zone?
And one player worth mentioning, JK Dobbins, a Houston native, looking for taste of blood on the city in which he was born at. Here he is over the backfield. It will be a play fake, but he blocks out Will Anderson, not for long though. Anderson gets to Herbert and brings him down on first down for a 9-yard sack between him and Mario Edwards Jr.
Damn.
You put a running back on a defensive end, that's a lot of pounds to block off. Sometimes you're going to need an extra lineman to block off the defensive end, and when he is just coming in a hurry. First sack of this game belonging to Anderson and Edwards. They split the sack. 2nd and 19. Texans send 5. Herbert's hurried up and fits it for a tight window and dropped. Disley had it on a silver platter.
Wow, the Chargers are about to fumble. I mean, maybe literally, but the way they're playing right now, they're about to fumble what should have just been a walk in the park given to them by the Texans. Unbelievable.
3rd and 19, it's a throw towards the right side. DJ Chark, the former Jaguar. He gets the Chargers closer on this impending field goal. 10 yards worth of such. It will be more makeable for Cameron Dicker on this one.
So that'll place them what yard line? It's at
the ball will be spotted towards the 29-yard line. So the ball will be at the 21. The ball will be snapped for the 21. It'll be spotted at the 29. This will be a 39-yard field goal from the right hash. Dicker's made 51 straight field goals as of now.
Yeah, that's not missing.
From inside the 40. That is. And he, of course, is reliable in that. It's a 6-0 lead for the Chargers with 6:35 to go in the first.
All right, man. I'm being called away by another friend who wants to go actually watch the game online with me. Unfortunately, I got to step out. I will see if I can maybe make it back during the second half. But looks like we're in for a good one here.
Yeah. Hope to see you by then, Owen. Houston, Texas, the Space City. Of course, there are a lot of nicknames over of Houston and here. Of course, that includes Clutch City, about how the many clutch moments of Houston sports. Bayou City, as another popular name, because it's home to 10 winding waterways flowing through the surrounding areas, including the Buffalo Bayou, which is the main waterway. Kick is over at the back of the end zone. Another Houston nickname being the cultural capital of the South, according to Worf, praising the city for the thriving arts, cultural, culinary, and design scenes. H-Town is a modern nickname for Houston, commonly used in reference to the city both locally and internationally, especially within the entertainment community. The H-Town Blues Festival is a music festival held each year in the city. H-Town Arena Theater hosting a variety of performing artists from around the country since the 1970s. Stroud & Company will have to go through this ball 70 yards. Juicing up the offensive line, Joe Mixon gets a cut 3 yards on this first play from scrimmage. John Mechie had the ball pop loose on a strip from Aloy Gelman previously. And the defensive lineup, so led by Otito Ogbonia. Key injury for the Texans being Shaq Mason, who was out with a knee injury. He is their right guard. Derwin James Jr. named to the Pro Bowl this year. 2nd and 7. Motion left is Mechie at the slot. It's Mixon up for the middle. Met at the line of scrimmage. Fights ahead to get just 1 yard on this running play. The Texans faced with 3rd and about 6 yards. Denzel Perryman was in on Mixon. So it was one of their best run stoppers, Perryman, in his second stint with the Chargers. Mixon subs out for this next play. Perryman also subs out. 3rd and 7, as there was actually no gain on the play. 37.7% conversion rate, which ranks 20th in the league. But more often than not, they've been pinned on 3rd and longs. In these situations, Chargers rush 5. Stroud chased by Joey Bosa. Bosa stumbles. Stroud throws on the run. Nearly intercepted. A sliding attempt by Deion Henley to try to pick up Stroud. And that would have been back-to-back turnovers on the Texans. Henley being their leader of this linebacker core. And he almost picked that one off as Stroud was looking towards Nico Collins. The closest open man was John Mechie. And Henley showed his speed on that play. Corner turned linebacker. And he showcased his speed. The punt is Tommy Townsend. Former 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Chiefs in the last 2 years. Now with the Texans. Townsend sends it. Davis is back deep over the right side and calls for the fair catch. He was interfered with. That'll be a 15-yard penalty. The Chargers specialize in fair catch interference. And it's going to be Chris Boyd. He'll get the penalty. He was the gunner on special teams, trying to slow down. He's trying to hold himself up. Remember, this was the same thing happened against the Broncos in Week 16. A Charger victory there. This will not be a free kick, but it will certainly help the Chargers. Chris Boyd called for the penalty. Land Clark in his first career postseason game as a referee. The Chargers up 6-0 here with 4:58 to go in the first quarter. We'll take a break. not be around tomorrow, but if plans do change, the preferred game will be the Buccaneers and the Commanders. Alec Knobber here with you. Chargers lead 6-0. They had the ball again and advanced 15 more yards due to fair catch interference on Chris Boyd. So they'll be starting from their own 27-yard line. Texans defense one of the best in the league at getting to the quarterback and disrupting plays. They sacked Justin Herbert once. Now it's Will Anderson Jr. and Mario Edwards Jr. splitting the sack for DeMeco Ryans' defense, coordinated by Matt Burke. Bobby Slowick's offense slowed down this season, and very visibly so. That coming with the heightened expectations of what's to come of the Texans, given their aspirations. They added Stefon Diggs in the offseason, trying to compete for a Super Bowl. Both he and Tank Dell, unfortunately, are out for the year with torn ACLs, which prompted the claim of Deontay Johnson off waivers. He is being utilized in a depth role. The outside receivers being Nico Collins, who is wide receiver number 1 in Houston, and the depth receiver Xavier Hutchinson. And this slot, John Mechie in the place of Dell. From the shotgun, the Chargers are operating. Motioning left is Darius Davis. Play fake. Herbert goes to Davis. Flag down on the field near the 40-yard line. As Davis is forced out of bounds, we'll check the penalty. And DeMeco Ryans pointing towards the Chargers for what is believed to be. They believe it's going to be an illegal man downfield. Ineligible man downfield. Could be Kamari Lassiter from what the looks are like. And Jim Harbaugh knew about that. It's an ineligible man downfield on Lassiter. So it'll be a 5-yard penalty and a replay of first down. It'll be 1st and 15. It's Lassiter, the right guard, or advanced position, way too much on the RPO at the line of scrimmage, just as he was across 1 yard for the line of scrimmage. That is the no-no zone for offensive linemen. They are not eligible linemen unless they report themselves as eligible. On 1st and 15, it's a run play. The Texans were ready for it. Dobbins held to a gain of 1 as he was driven down by Foley Fatukasi. 2nd and 14, headed right up. Chargers at the lead. The Texans need to clean up on penalties as well, because they're one of the most penalized teams in the league, the Chargers being the second least penalized team in the league. The Texans, they were called for fair catch interference on the play before the ineligible man downfield penalty. 2nd and 14, Herbert on an empty set. Herbert airing this one out. This gets popped into the air off the hands of Johnston. Defended by Azeez Al-Shaair, who is back in the game. A flag is down, however, and we'll have to check the penalty. Back at the 27-yard line. Danielle Hunter called for the penalty. 55 for the Texans. They agreed to a jersey swap in terms of numbers with Jerry Hughes, who was an inactive on his day, as Hunter clearly grabbed Hassan Haskins. That is an eligible receiver. You cannot grab someone on that way, on the jersey, for any sort. Gus Edwards enters as the running back. Wind up in the pistol, says DJ Chark motions right. Run at the middle for Edwards. Crowded at the line. Just 1 yard. As Edwards get brought down by 3 guys. The first of which being Hunter, who made up for the penalty of a tackle near the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 9 upcoming. Hunter and Tim Settle Jr. Chargers outgained the Texans 71-11 in this defensive battle so far in this first quarter. 3:10 to go here in the first. Herbert, once again the pistol. Haskins is the running back. Tucker Fisk motions right. 3 receivers towards the right side. The low man to the left is Quentin Johnson. Texans send 4. Herbert is going to look right to left, looking at his options. Missed this man. Incomplete. Haskins, the intended target, as he threw it a little towards the left side. Wide of him. 2-2 in coverage, 3rd and 9. And the clock stops with 2:53. You bring out the speed 8 options for the Texans if you're going to go 3rd and 9 on the coverage, knowing the Chargers are going to get a lot of speed on 3rd and 9 for this upcoming play. Kamari Lassiter being one of the 2 young corners here alongside Derek Stingley Jr. On the shotgun, Texans blitzing Herbert. Ball was tipped up into the air and it falls incomplete. There was a hand onto the ball. Will Anderson Jr. adjusted the throwing motion. And because it was tipped, Miles Bryant was in to try to make the play as Anderson adjusted the trajectory of the pass. It was a forward throwing motion that D'Amico Ryans and Matt Burke's defense have done the job here to force the Chargers to punt for the first time today. It is J.K. Scott, another Alabama product, hitting in. D'Angelo Ross trying to block it. There it is! The ball does bounce and is going back deep towards the 30-yard line. I'm not sure if you could time that one any better. D'Angelo Ross, coming in as the gunner to try to block the punt, may have adjusted the angle. He did, as he blocked off the punt. Frank Ross, the special teams coordinator, being a job well done. A job well done that time around to get the Texans in a more favorable spot. We'll be back. D'Angelo Ross blocked a punt on J.K. Scott. It took a bounce as he took a motion towards the left side and timed that perfectly. Frank Ross's unit has to be feeling good out there to set up the Texans on a favorable spot. We'll see if the offense can capitalize on it with 6 and not 3. This Texans offense has taken a big downturn this year. See if C.J. Stroud can do anything with it. Throw towards the middle is Dalton Schultz on Stroud's first completion since the fumble on John Mechie. It's a first down for H-Town. 14 yards on the catch and run for Schultz. Over towards the middle and hit him on time as Schultz subs out. 2:10 to go here in the first quarter. Light at the end of the tunnel, maybe. Perhaps. You need anything. Play fake for Mixon. Stroud going to Woods. And the Texans at the Charger 45. It's back-to-back first down catches for Houston. Robert Woods, formerly with the Los Angeles Rams, made a Super Bowl with them as one of their outside receivers. Stroud finds him towards that middle, and that was the go-to connection that time around. Stroud's 3 of 4 for 34 yards. Mechie lost a fumble on a Loey Gilman punch-out. Just the second first down of the day for the Texans. Mechie motions left towards the right side of Blake Fisher. Stroud roll out off the hands of Mechie. Derwin James in coverage. Denzel Perryman has been an animal when stopping the run, but injuries have been troubling him throughout his career. He is questionable to return for this game with an elbow injury. It'll be 2nd and 10 for his defensive unit. Troy Dye takes Perriman's place. Junior Colson, another linebacker, can also be relied on in the absence of Perriman. Empty set for Stroud with 2 left and 3 right. Stroud steps up and is munched up at midfield. Joey Bosa. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And Bosa may not be what he once was with 5 sacks in the regular season, but he showed the talent that he can be as he beat out Laramie Tunsil up front at the left tackle side. Bulldozed through him and beat him out to get to Stroud. Justin Herbert and company approved. First sack for the Chargers in this game. 5 yards lost and such. Play clock at 1. Stroud towards the middle for Schultz. Dalton Schultz not even close to a first down. Down at the 41-yard line. And that may likely be the end of the first quarter because it'll likely be the last play at the first quarter. They don't need to run another play. But in such, I believe the Texans, they may want to be taking this towards the second quarter. Bobby Slowick, young offensive mind, reputation took a massive hit this year. They huddle up and break out the huddle on 4th and 6. They're not trying to run a play here. They're just going to take this to the end of the quarter. What they tried to do is jump the Chargers off sides. But the Chargers stayed disciplined. To end the first, Jim Harbaugh's unit leads 6-0 on a pair of Cameron Dicker field goals. One of them off a turnover, forced by Loey Gilman on a fumble recovery by Derwin James to punch out on John Mechie. The second quarter is next. Texans at 4th and 6. At the end of the first quarter, we are now beginning the second quarter here at NRG Stadium. This was the site of last year's national championship game in the college football playoff, with the Michigan Wolverines defeating the Washington Huskies. Texans are punting, with Tommy Townsend setting it off. He is positioned at his own 45. The ball be snapped from the Charger 46. Chargers try to get in to block the punt unless if anything else. Angelo Ross blocked the punt from JK Scott, but it rolled over to Texans territory. I have never seen anything like that. Townsend trying to discuss with the referees about something. And the Texans, they tried to get the Chargers to jump, but they held on to their timeouts. The discussion was about trying to get the Chargers to jump off sides. Townsend thought that there was a Charger that jumped offside, thinking that there was some space. There was nothing. Chargers stayed disciplined like they did, and so the Texans, they'll have to punt. Darius Davis is back deep to return this one. The ball is now positioned at the Charger 49-yard line. Charger 46-yard line, actually. Previously said 41-yard line. So Darius Davis still standing. Back deep to return. Townsend will receive it. His kick is on the way. Davis being the recipient, calling for a fair catch at the 7-yard line. That's where the Chargers will begin their drive. It's the 8-yard line. So 6 seconds into the quarter. So we're staying with you here for this moment as CBS takes an ad break for this next sequence. It's been mostly Chargers, but it's more of a defensive battle. An old school battle. The Texans have been shut out once in the wild card round. That was back in the 2016 playoffs, in which Niall Davis took the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and the Kansas City Chiefs won 30-0 over the Texans. The other time it was the Indianapolis Colts, who won 9 of their final 10 games of the regular season, then defeated the Texans in the opening game, wildcard round game 21-7. Justin Herbert starting for the 8-yard line. That's where Davis made the fair catch. Single back set. There's only one receiver to that left side. Free to the right. Scott Matlock, the fullback, motions left. Herbert on a play fake. Finds McConkey over the middle. At the 20-yard line with such precision. There's another first down. 12 yards out that one. Embry beat out Derek Stingley Jr. over through that middle side. But the best young quarters in the NFL, who was responsible for the most pass breakups on the Texans this year, 15 of such. 18 as such. The next closest is Kamari Lassiter with 10. 7 first downs a game for the Chargers as Matlock motions to the fullback spot. Play fake to the middle. Herbert throwing to the middle again. Finds McConkey at the middle again. And runs this for 15 yards. It's number 15 for 15. A minute into the second. Just like that, the Chargers are rolling again. Back-to-back completions. Totaling 27 yards total for Ladd, the Rad Lad. And it's making his Texans defense look foolish. He subs out for a well-earned rest. His 5th target. He now has 3 catches for 37 yards. Pistol set for the Chargers this time. Handoff left for Dobbins. Dobbins to the 40. He is brought down to 41. Toto was one of the 2 guys in on the tackle. And with JK Dobbins, the Chargers offense is averaging 8.9 positive point differential per game, but without him it's a negative 3.5 point differential. Rushing yards per game is 121.8 with Dobbins, 74.8 without him. Rushing percentage is 47.6% of the time with Dobbins. A sub 40% number without him. He already has 6 carries for 23 yards. Crazy to think how much he can do when he's healthy. Herbert on a play fake out of the reach of McConkey. It's incomplete as Kalen Bullock Trying to blow that screen pass up. Miles Bryant also in as well. Anderson was also trying to disrupt the play, as it's now 3rd and 4 here at Houston. 4th most populous city in the United States. The Chargers are 0 for 3 on 3rd down today. Neither team has done much on 3rd down, to be fair. Danielle Hunter's position at the far side, matched up with Rashawn Slater. Herbert, side-arming. This went. He looked like he dropped it. Quentin Johnston did not hang on to that. He would have been short of a 1st down anyway. But had he caught it, it would be a much more interesting decision to make for Greg Roman. And Johnston is banged up at the end of that play. And the pressure from Kamari Lassiter as Johnston could not hang on to the ball. As it bounced off his head several times, Lassiter made contact. Johnston could not hang on to it. There'll be a punt from JK Scott. And Johnston may be examined in the meantime. Scott's punt is off from the 30-yard line. Robert Woods is back deep, signals for the fair catch. They'll start from their own 12-yard line at the next possession. 2 minutes, 22 seconds into the second quarter. Still nothing in the touchdown department. Will D'Amico Ryans' team answer back? Is the former linebacker sure hope so? We'll be back in a moment. Not a lot for the Chargers on their last drive. Took 5 plays, 33 yards before they punted. And so CJ Stroud and company have to start for their own 12-yard line. It's not the same Texans offense that took the league by storm last year. Now they're taking several steps back. Stroud hands off for Mixon up the middle. Did not get a lot of that. Just 2 yards before being stopped by Junior Colson. The Harbaugh effect in the NFL ranks in points per game allowed is remarkable. Defensively, his presence is felt. Last year's Chargers, they were 24th in points allowed per game. This year, they were first. With the 49ers in 2010, they were 16th in points allowed per game. In the first year of Harbaugh, they were second. They finished second in 2010. 2nd and 8 here. Motioning left is Deontay Johnson. Stroud on a play fake. Steps up. Airs it out towards the right side of the field for Nico Collins. Out of the reach of Christian Fulton. And Fulton was more the receiver in this play, as it was clearly overthrown over both Collins and Fulton. As Fulton, he was trying to dive for the interception. 3rd and 8 as Fulton sits down after trying to make a diving catch. Neither team has converted a 3rd down so far in the day. The Chargers are 0 for 4. Texans are 0 for 2. Stroud is 4-7 for 43 yards. This is more a defensive-minded football contest. Stroud, all sorts of time, airs it towards the left side. Did he keep his feet in bounds? Yes, he did! Dean Leonard with the interception! Houston, we have a problem. CJ Stroud tried to throw the ball out of bounds, but it was clearly not at that level, but 1 foot, 2 feet. This may take a second look, but Dean Leonard has both feet down. Clearly an interception. He stayed up on his toes, and Leonard, he knew he had both feet down. Wow. One of the coldest interceptions ever. We'll be back with the Chargers having the ball. Leonard with one of the best interceptions that you'll see. He kept both feet down and did not give him any sort of white space in between. Wow. The last Chargers playoff win was in 2018 in a wild card match against the Baltimore Ravens. 23-17. CJ Stroud with his first interception of the playoffs in his career as Herbert play fakes. Herbert steps up, throws across his body towards the left side, and gives it right back to the Texans. Kamari Lassiter jumped up in front of Quentin Johnston in double coverage, and Lassiter says, "You intercept us, we'll intercept you right back." The Chargers dialed something up for a big play on Quentin Johnston, but Herbert gives it right back to the Texans with Lassiter reading the play. The rookie corner for H-Town is rolling here today. In his time with the University of Georgia, he was one of their standout defenders. This is his 4th interception of the season, which is one behind Derek Stingley Jr. for the team lead, regular season and playoffs combined. And the Texans have a chance. Strike first. This is Herbert's first interception on the road in his last 274 pass attempts. First turnover of the game for the Chargers. Stroud hits Collins past the 20-yard line. 14 yards on the catch and run. 13 rather. As Collins gets a first down for it, the Texans. Going 1-0 Cam Hart for the first hit from Derwin James Jr. A pair of 5th-round rookies. For the Chargers starting on defense, Hart picked ahead of Tarheeb Still. Still was coming to his own. Stroud so far is 5-9. But could this be the drive in which the Texans get the juice offensively? Shotgun set. Mechie motions towards the right side. He's at the slot. Stroud finds Mechie. That ball is dropped. Another quick hitter. Not there for Mechie. It is 2nd and 10. Was one of the standouts at the University of Alabama, but that was not actually a drop, but Aloy Gilman punched it out right on time. Another quick hitter for Mechie, and Gilman said no again. It wasn't a fumble like last time around, but rather a broken up pass at the last moment. The finish has to be there. Chargers send 4. Stroud is hurried and brought down by Khalil Mack. Eight yards on the loss. And Ian Eagle said it best. It was a Mack attack. Laramie Tunsil was blocked off on the path to the inside as he accounted for a double team by one of the defensive linemen. That's the wrong read. Titus Howard. He had to pick up the rush on the inside for Mack. 3rd and 18. That was a loss of 8 on that last play. Stroud on 3rd and 18. Quick throw to the right side. Catch and immediately brought down was Mechie, as that was read by Derwin James. A lot of defensive reads here. The Chargers defense and the Texans defense going at it toe for toe. When you see the Chargers and Texans going one against each other, you could expect old school defensive football. We are getting exactly that. It is defensive football. And points are being earned at every turn. 4th and 8. Tommy Townsend kicks this one off. And back deep is Darius Davis. He'll call for a fair catch at the 25-yard line. Those spotted just shy of 26. 9:20 to go in the second quarter. Still, it's a 6-0 lead for the Chargers. But it's defense being the name of this game. We'll return. night, it'll be the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens at 8 o'clock p.m. on Amazon Prime Video. Tomorrow, the Broncos and Bills at 1 p.m. Eastern. Packers and Eagles at 4:30. And at 8 o'clock, the Buccaneers and the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Now, on Monday Night Football, it'll be the Los Angeles Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. As we speak about both the Chargers and the Rams, we are thinking about all of the victims of the California wildfires and everyone being affected by it. We are thinking about all of those who have lost their homes and their lands as such. Our prayers go up to California and the city of Los Angeles. You can help by donating to the American Red Cross. Help out the victims in need. First play is a run. It is a gain of just 1 yard for JK Dobbins. Week 2 at Carolina. That's the last time that Justin Herbert had a road interception. Today, it was Herbert on a bad read towards the left side with Lassiter jumping Quentin Johnston right in front. 2nd and 9 upcoming as Herbert and co want to lead the way for the first touchdown of this game. Though it may not be out the equation in which the first touchdown may be a defensive touchdown. It's not outlandish to say that. Herbert swings it out over to Darius Davis. Darius Davis is flattened by Lassiter. Loss of free on that. The screen pass was blown up. The play was developing. Davis was the motion man. Lassiter did not go towards that route on the curl left. Instead went towards this swing pass left. Short passing in plays for the Chargers this time. But that backfired on LA. Both teams each are 0 for 4 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 12. The 9th 3rd down of this game. Herbert towards the middle. In the pocket. McConkey adjusts the angle. Here's the first 3rd down conversion of the game. Catch and run for 19 yards from Ladd McConkey. Who else? He was the motion man as he got towards the slot. Beat out Miles Bryant and was able to reach that second level. Beating out Henry Toto. Gets back upfield away from Kalen Bullock. And adjusts the angle towards the left side. First 3rd down conversion of the game. It took 9 tries to do so. McConkey motions right. Handoff left for Dobbins. Dobbins slowed up and gets 2 yards. Derek Barnett, a Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 52, now with the Texans defense. 2nd and 8 is next. Eighth rush by McConkey, or rather Dobbins on the game. He is now up to a total of 26 yards. Matt Burke, the defensive coordinator for the Texans, is at the sideline for Houston. 2nd and 8. 4 Texans on the line of scrimmage. It's all the defensive line. And the Texans send those 4. Herbert towards that middle side again. Broken up by Stingley. Pro Bowl corner in his first go around there. And now instead of 3rd and 8. As he was getting the one-on-one matchup with McConkey. Got the hand on it and broke it up at the last time. Being tough and physical with McConkey. He said, "No, sir," to Ladd McConkey. Stingley, an LSU product. On the same school that Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase all came from. 3rd and 8. Motion left is DJ Chark Jr. Herbert backs up, being pressured by Hunter, and has to spike it to the dirt. The pressure from Hunter on the right side, too much for Herbert to handle. And Derek Stingley be able to set up that 3rd and 8. Hunter beats out Joe Alt. And Herbert steps up right onto another pile of pressure and was not able to escape it. But got it off just before the Texans were able to sack him. JK Scott will pump for the 3rd time in this half. It's up. That was nearly blocked for a 2nd time. Robert Woods back deep. This is going to go towards the end zone. Takes several bounces. Some Chargers are there. And they pin the Texans at the 1. 55 yards officially for J.K. Scott before Dean Leonard who had the interception off C.J. Stroud earlier in this game. He did it on defense. He did it on special teams now. Do the Texans have an answer? Find out soon. Jim Harbaugh has a history of playoff success. 4 playoff appearances in 5 seasons as an NFL head coach. 3 NFC championship appearances with the 49ers, all consecutive, with one of them being a Super Bowl appearance. He's seeking to become the 4th head coach to win a college national championship and a Super Bowl all time, joining Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, and Pete Carroll in that category. And if there's a company, if there's someone who can do it, it is definitely Jim Harbaugh. 6:15 to go in the second quarter. He is standing over at the Chargers sideline. His defense out there onto the field. The Texans are pinned inside the 1. Very precarious scenario for them. If they're not careful, it will be a safety. Mixon at least gets them out of some sort of trouble. Still going with some help from the offensive line. He gets 6 yards on this run. 6.5 yard pickup for the Texans. And so far, so good. He got to that second level. So Houston wants to get momentum back. Fumble, punt, interception, punt on their first 5 possessions. And all of them have lasted around 2 minutes or less. 2nd and 4 with Mixon as the lone running back. Play fake. Stroud from his own end zone being chased. He chucks it up to the air. Nobody was there. Nobody is there in the vicinity. This is going to be a judgment call by the officials. And Jim Harbaugh calling for intentional grounding. Landmark signals 3rd down. They determined that it is not a safety as Stroud was rolling towards his left side, being under heavy duress, but may have just escaped the pocket. And Jim Harbaugh calling for intentional grounding, but that penalty may have saved the Texans for the time being. Nico Collins to the swat, 3rd and 4. Stroud, second-year man from Ohio State. Chargers setting 4. Stroud finds Collins at the left side. Fulton would not let him go. It is a first down nonetheless, but it's 5 yards. Christian Fulton held on to him, but the Texans at least have escaped peril. To continue on with the short outside passes towards the left side for Nico Collins. That time around it was a good omen for them as Collins got 5 yards out of that with Fulton being being the tackler. Chargers show blitz. Will they disguise the blitz here? 3 on the play clock. Hand off for Mixon just on time, trying to escape several Chargers defenders. Does. And what would have been a negative play turned into a gain of 3 before being brought down by Khalil Mack. Mack had warranted sacks for the Chargers in this game. Defensive Rookie of the Year being very contested between Quinyon Mitchell and Jared Verse. In the NFL awards, Lamar Jackson may have taken a cake for NFL MVP front runner now. 2nd and 7 as Stroud does a play fake. Towards the left side, Mechie, first down. 7 yards that time around as he went towards the outside and evades Deion Henley. So, Offensive Player of the Year may be very likely Saquon Barkley. Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going to lean towards Pat Surtain. Offensive Rookie of the Year, no doubt will be Jaden Daniels. Coach of the Year, Kevin O'Connell, may take that one, unless Dan Campbell has to say. And Comeback Player of the Year, Sam Darnold, may be the leader in that. This will be the 6th play of this drive. Texans have gone 22 yards already. Stroud. Being chased over the right side under heavy duress. Throws it off. Incomplete. Short of Robert Woods with a Aloy Gilman in coverage. Clock stops at 3:26, but there was heavy pressure from Stroud's left. Pona Ford was chasing after him. And Ford was being held as well by Titus Howard. The hit by Ford at the end. And T.R. Tart was chasing him initially before Ford hit him at the end. Not Ford Motor Company. 2nd and 10. Ford part of the defensive line at the interior side. 88-66, the passing yards advantage in favor of the Chargers. Stroud. Chargers send 4. Stroud gets it off as he was shoestring. And that's complete to Xavier Hutchinson of a flag over at the backfield. There was a penalty marker back at the 17-yard line. It's a 2-minute penalty for Titus Howard. No, I'm kidding. That's what they say in hockey. But it's a personal foul against Titus Howard for tripping T.R. Tart. He kicked him over at the shin area. That's a no-no. In hockey, that's 2 minutes in the box. So does that mean Titus Howard will spend 2 minutes in a penalty box? Not in this case. He'll still be at the left guard spot. 2nd and 21. The Texans are backed up at the 11.5-yard line. Stroud dumps off toward the right side. That is Cade Stover on his first catch. He's their backup tight end and their rookie out of Ohio State. Third tight end being Irv Smith Jr. and an Alabama product. Schultz is a product of Stanford. But Stover gets 5 yards back and will set up 3rd and 16. Texans have all 3 timeouts. This may likely be the last play before the 2-minute warning. Darryl Gumbawale is in for as a backup running back behind Joe Mixon. Bad snap here. Stroud recovers it, being chased by Tuipulotu and Bosa. Stroud on the deep side finds an open man. Xavier Hutchinson takes it to midfield. How about it? When it looked like it would be choke city, it was clutch city. C.J. Stroud on a bad snap by Jared Patterson recovers it and delivers a dime to Hutchinson at the 2-minute warning. And Texans are in striking distance. We'll see if they can capitalize coming out the break in a bit. Patterson botched the snap. Stroud recovered it. And then threw a deep ball to Hutchinson that went for 34 yards. Just like they drew it up. So as we are 2 minutes away from halftime, we'll see if the Texans can capitalize with 6. 2 minutes to go. The Texans are 5-2 in the wildcard round in their franchise's history. Every single one of their wildcard games have been in this exact time slot. Saturday afternoon, 4:30 p.m. Moving towards the left is Joe Mixon all the way to the left. 3 left and 2 right. Empty set for the Texans. Stroud towards that middle side for Schultz and another fumble. This is Deion Henley returning it, but they're going to rule it incomplete. He was running with the football. He thought it was a fumble. Did Schultz secure that second foot down is the question. You want to let these things play out. So as he's turning, that first step might not have been down as Troy Dye poked it loose and Henley thought that it would be a fumble. Instead, it's an incompletion. 123 to 120. The total yards here. Just the 4th play in opposing territory for the Texans. Stroud dials one deep. Finds Nico Collins. Beating out Lloyd Gilman. Down at the red zone. The deepest that the Texans have been here in enemy territory on the day. On the cusp of taking the first touchdown of this game. Some of the most crazier stuff that's happened so far. And Nico Collins, wide receiver 1, takes this deep and gets up front to set up the Texans for first down in the red zone. And right here before the half, he wanted to get up and running. Stroud 11 of 18, 154 yards and a pick. Collins caught his third catch for 55 yards total. Mixon for the middle. He is met. Demolished by Pona Ford up the middle. 1 minute to go. There's a loss of 1. The Chargers use up their first timeout. For this run up the middle, Ford read that gap and broke through up the middle, exploiting that hole. The game clock is going to be reset to 1 minute and 5 seconds. Wildcard round is the first game of 6 in the wildcard round. Winner will likely advance to face the Kansas City Chiefs unless if anything else happens. Lowest seeded team will face the highest seeded team remaining in the divisional round. So a lot to be said on both sides so far. Trip formation left. Robert Woods motions towards the right, so it's a bunch set. Shotgun for Stroud. Stroud finds Woods and pops in and out. Hard in coverage. 3rd and 11. Rookie out of Notre Dame, a 5th round pick taken in the same draft class as Tarheeb Still. The 2 of them on the same draft class. Hart from Notre Dame, Still from Maryland. This drive, the Texans are outgaining their first 5 drives combined, 86-70. 30-11 from the Charger 13-yard line. 11 yards for the first down, 13 for the touchdown as Mechie motions towards the right side. Nico Collins is the lone receiver towards the left. 3 receivers right. Schultz finds Collins. Touchdown! Nico Collins takes off! A chance to take the lead for the Texans. Right up as they cap off this drive. A 13-yard catch and run for Nico Collins. CJ Stroud, good protection in the pocket and enough time to find Collins in the slant as he beats out Christian Fulton up the middle. trying to go 6-2 in this exact time slot in the wild card round. 10 passes, 3 rushes for the Texans. Snap, spot, kick for Fairbairn. All of it is perfect. Houston leads by 1, 7-6 with 58 seconds to go. We'll return with the Chargers having the ball for coverage here. But nonetheless, we're going to take a break. We're staying with you here. But it looked like a missed false start on one part. It might look like a false start. But Nico Collins has been electric for Houston. It's essentially being the team's wide receiver 1. Being their best offensive weapon. 58 seconds to go. Does Justin Herbert have an answer? He threw an interception already. CJ Stroud responded to an interception quite well. Leaned away on a touchdown drive. The Xavier Hutchinson catch at midfield put them in a very good spot. Collins finished his job with a touchdown. These two defenses being among the league's best. Who prevails? Fairbairn kicks off. Darius Davis sees this go all the way back at the end zone. But that last play on a botch snap by Patterson, Stroud was able to recover it back and was able to deliver to Hutchinson on a deep spiral at the 40-yard line. A tie of a split for Nico Collins. It gives his defensive backs a little trouble. And then Collins beats out Fulton on that slant route towards the inside. Puts on a move on him. Quentin Johnson's the only man at the left side. He's joined by JK Dobbins now. 3 receivers right. Herbert on first down. Herbert stepping up several times. Now over the middle. Broke it up. Shark the intended man. Stingley in coverage. This Texans defense being very stingy. And Stingley, of course, being no slouch. Being their Pro Bowl corner for the first time. As Stingley at the one-on-one man coverage. It was very tight coverage as Shark was denied. Dobbins, the running back, in the pistol set. Texans fans loud here. Now it's a shotgun set, 2 left and 2 right. McConkey at the slot right side. On second down. Herbert being pressured. Shakes out one man. Fires a deep ball for McConkey. Way too far. Third down now for the Chargers. With 45 seconds to go, what the game plan could be. And McConkey knew that was off target as the pressure was created up front at the middle for Danico Autry. He went up and over. It's a little too much. The Chargers missed another deep shot. Crowd's getting loud here. Herbert 7 of 11 for 78 yards, but ever since he's 1 of 8 for 19 yards and a pick. And Jim Harbaugh calls timeout. Momentum has shifted here in Houston, and Jim Harbaugh's team wants to quiet that. The Texans showing what they can be. 45 seconds to go. As we are bringing you some highlights from that first half and some discussion of some keys of what could be the focus for the second half. And a Texans fan wants the Texans to win game number, get win number 11 for her 11th birthday. Happy birthday to her. It'll be a treat for that young Texans fan. A win. Be the perfect birthday gift. D'Amico Ryan's getting the crowd to get fired up. Herbert 8 of 19 for 97 yards. Watch for Will Anderson Jr. on that left side. Matched up with Rashawn Slater. Texans send the blitz after Herbert. Herbert's hurried up, throws it off over the right side. What a catch! It's incomplete! Off of Quentin Johnston. But what a diving attempt by Johnston as he tried to go for that. Azeez Al-Shaair dialed up the pressure. I thought it was a catch by Johnston, but it wasn't. It was in and out. Tremendous pressure on Herbert. Down the field, the coverage was tight. Johnston tried to squeak it just through that tight window, but it bounced on the ground. Nothing there. JK Scott off the spree and out. That was almost another block by the Texans. Robert Woods returning at the right side, able to get it back to the 31-yard line. Stopped at the 27. 10 yards on that return for Bobby Trees. Texans don't need to get into field goal range, but they have all 3 timeouts. They could be getting there for the moment. Kaimi Fairbairn going to warm up. They want to get into Fairbairn range. And Fairbairn is one of the best kickers from deep. 27 seconds to go. Texans at their own 32-yard line. Matchy motions towards the slot. Left of Tunzel. Stroud. Chargers rush 4. Towards the left side. The catch by Mechie. Runs it out of bounds. 22 seconds left. Clock is stopped. Fairbairn on the year is 13 of 16 from at least 50 yards on the season. So the accuracy is there from deep. The Texans have played a lot of close games for comfort. D'Amico Ryans is no stranger to such. Narrowly beat the Buffalo Bills in a Stefon Diggs revenge game. 2nd and 6 as Dalton Schultz motions to the right of Blake Fisher. Stroud is hurried up, runs up front for the first down, midfield. That's the 40, hauled down by Henley. He takes it into Los Angeles territory. The ball came out at the end, though. They made road as Stroud was down by contact. And Stroud is fired up. Momentum shifting in a blink of an eye. On that 3rd down pass, what he could bring for Justin Herbert, but CJ Stroud can use his legs. It's hauled down from behind by Henley. The ball may have came out the end. The knees were down, so he is down by contact. The ball came out well after the play was over. 25 yards on the run from CJ Stroud. They marked him down at the Charger 37-yard line. Even better for the Texans, they'll receive the second half kickoff. The Chargers started with possession of the ball in this game. 13 seconds to go. The Texans, they can get extra yardage here in H-Town. So they're in range, but they want to get closer. This is 1st and 10. They don't need to pass the ball here. All they need is to get closer in range. This is Daryl Gumbawale on the handoff. Inside, 9 seconds left. Texans call another timeout. And you would figure that they will want to get even closer in range. Ball is now at the 32-yard line. And Jim Harbaugh, knowing that there are a lot of decisions to be made later. Each team has 1 timeout left. And assume the Chargers are going to save that for when they ice Kaimi Fairbairn. 9 seconds to go. The Fairbairn, once again, getting his routine up, preparing for the field goal try. 2nd and 5. From this spot, it'll be a 50-yard attempt. Stroud, over the middle on the slant, and it'll get closer. This is going to be a 41-yarder. And the Texans use their final timeout. With 6 seconds to go, Robert Woods up for that right side. He has done everything right ever since that last drive. And they have a good chance at expanding this lead to 4 as Fairbairn is now suiting up. and getting onto the field. It'll be a 41-yard attempt for him. The Chargers try to ice him. Fairbairn 36-42 on the regular season. His longest kick is 59 yards. This is a straightaway kick, 41 yards out, through the middle. John Weeks the snapper. Tommy Townsend the holder. Snap good. Hold good. And the kick is good. Everything is perfect for the Texans. 10-6 to go. At the lead here for Houston with 3 seconds on the clock entering halftime. Fairbairn did not miss an extra point last week, and he knocked that one perfectly down the middle. And that missed snap by Jared Patterson being the turning point with C.J. Stroud fighting Xavier Hutchinson up through the middle. And that play up forward, the turning point for the Texans on a catch and run by the Iowa State product. Was a rookie last year. Native of Jacksonville, Georgia. Ravens and Steelers meet later tonight. However, the outcomes may decide the Chiefs have a first round bye. Do the Texans do a squib kick here so as to run out extra time onto the clock? It will not be. But it will be back deep. And the Chargers will try to return this to end the first half. There's a bunch of nothing that time. Stopped at the 15. Darius Davis. He got hurt on that last play. On the return. He was blown up by Dare Ogunbowale. And now the concern is about Davis, who was the return man. Off the kickoff. There were 3 seconds on the clock. Davis risked himself. And losing their return man will be a blow for the Chargers. As Jim Harbaugh is checking in on him. We'll go into halftime. Texans lead 10-6. The touchdown by Nico Collins being the difference maker and getting the Texans the lead. In which they went 99 yards for the score. It was excellent special teams for the Chargers on that punt by JK Scott. But it was all for naught to give a 99-yard drive. At the half, Houston leads 10-6. We'll be right back for the halftime report. Plus the keys for what's to come of the second half. I am Alec Nava. Stay tuned. cannot underestimate the impact of defensive football. That's what we got in this first half. And it led to a low-scoring first half. The Texans lead 10-6. After one half of play, it was a pair of Charger field goals. Cameron Dicker from 35 and 39. The Texans, however, turned the momentum on a 99-yard drive, spearheaded by C.J. Stroud's 34-yard dime to Xavier Hutchinson after a bad snap by Jarrett Patterson. And capped off with Nico Collins' 13-yard catch-and-run touchdown on the slant. With 58 seconds to go in the half, Kaimi Fairbairn hit a field goal from 41 yards out with 3 seconds to go, and that wrapped up the scoring for this first half. I'm Alec Navas. We take a look at the first half stats. For the Chargers, Justin Herbert started off fast but cooled off quickly. He is 8 of 20 for 97 yards and a pick. Sacked once. It's a quarterback rating of 34.8. JK Dobbins, 8 carries, 26 yards. Ladd McConkey, 4 catches for 56 yards. Will Disley, 2 catches, 16 yards. Quentin Johnson was targeted 3 times. He has no catches on the day. Derwin James recovered a fumble that was forced by Alohi Gilman on the opening drive for the Texans. And defensively, there's an interception by Dean Leonard. Kept both feet down and picked off C.J. Stroud. 1 sack each from Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. For the Texans, Stroud is 14-23 for 180 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Stroud at the longest run of the day for the Texans, 27 yards. Joe Mixon, 6 carries were 15 yards. Nico Collins with 4 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Hutchinson's lone catch went for 34 yards. John Mechie with 4 catches, 28 yards. Dalton Schultz, 2 catches, 23 yards. Robert Woods, 2 catches, 22 yards. Mechie lost a fumble. C.J. Stroud technically had a fumble, but he recovered that. That was on the pass to Hutchinson. Defensively, Kamari Lassiter defended 2 passes, intercepting 1 of them. Derek Stingley Jr. broke up 2 passes, Miles Bryant with 1, and Will Anderson Jr. with 1. Overall, the Texans have broken up 6 passes in the first half. The Chargers have 4 passes broken up, one each by. So actually, it's 3 when you erase the Dean Leonard interception. Cam Hart, Troy Dye, and Alohi Gilman were responsible for passes broken up. Texans, it was Miles Bryant, Kamari Lassiter, Derek Stingley, and Will Anderson Jr. with 1, 2, 2, and 1, respectively. Will Anderson Jr. and Mario Edwards Jr. split the first sack of the game, so they hear credit with half a sack. So, team stats here. The Texans with 10 first downs, the Chargers with 9. Both teams previously went 0 for 4 on third down in this game. Neither team converted on their first 8 third downs up until the Chargers had the first third down conversion of the game. Chargers are 1 of 7 on third down. The Texans are 3 of 7. The Texans had 9 passing first downs, 1 rushing first down. The Chargers with 5 passing first downs, 3 rushing first downs, and 1 first down by penalty. Though in total yards, the Texans have 214 over the Chargers 123. 467 passing yards total. Net passing yards, the Chargers 88. 47 to 35, the rushing yards in favor of the Texans. The Texans also have 4 penalties for 36 yards. Chargers with 1 penalty for 5 yards. One of the most disciplined teams in the league. The Chargers could not capitalize on their lone red zone trip. The Texans did. The Chargers with the ball for 16 minutes and 42 seconds of time with the ball on the field. Texans with 13 minutes and 18 seconds. So as to look for in this game, the storylines to watch. So the Chargers, they can keep C.J. Stroud at bay. He's not the same quarterback who took the league by storm last year. Against defenses that rank in the top 10 for points allowed, Stroud has a 67 touchdown to reception ratio, which caused Houston to go 1-5 in such games. It's been a rough season for the Texans as a whole when they've been asked to play against some of the better defenses in the NFL. Stroud has 12 picks while seeing his total passing yards dip a bit after having 5 picks last season. Not a good sign that the Chargers play zone coverage the majority of the time. Stroud has thrown 9 touchdowns and 10 picks when facing zone. The Bolts play zone 79.4% of the time. You have to see him break out from the worst tendencies if Houston hopes to beat the Bolts in the wildcard round. And Quentin Johnston can carry the momentum for the season finale, but that has not been the case. This Texans defense is no slouch. Derek Stingley Jr. The expectation that Stingley can draw Ladd McConkey for most of the day, which would free up Johnston for more looks, and that has not been working. To get Ian on board here at halftime, well, this has been more of a defensive battle. We sort of expected that, knowing that these are two of the best defenses in the NFL. Have you seen it as such that way?
You know, I can't tell if this is a defensive battle or if it's purely defensive or it's because both teams are tripping over themselves. Because, while yes, the defenses are great, these are two offenses that score points, or at least Houston did early on. The Chargers certainly do. So I'm wondering how much of this is defense and how much of this is offensive miscues.
But for the Texans' case, they did have a 99-yard touchdown drive. That has got to be one for the books there. At Stroud center, Jared Patterson botched the snap. Stroud picked it up, and then he threw a dime to Xavier Hutchinson on that drive. That's up the Nico Collins touchdown on his slant.
Yeah, that was, I got to see that on streaming. That was impressive. And wait a minute. How did they? Okay, Alec, explain something to me. Because Houston scores a touchdown. How did they get a field goal?
They got a field goal because the Chargers did nothing on their last drive. They tried 3 straight passing plays. Justin Herbert has been ice cold after starting off hot. The Chargers punted. Stroud took off and ran for 27 yards. That set up the field goal by Kylie Fairbairn from 41 yards.
Okay. When you said 3 straight passing plays, now it makes sense why they had enough time to get a field goal.
Yep. And for the Chargers, you'd think that they would go back to their norm of ground and pound football, but so far, Derek Stingley is having a field day on the Chargers.
All right, hang on, I gotta go on mute.
No worries. So, one thing of note is that Quentin Johnston targeted 3 times. He does not have a catch just yet. One of those passes was broken up at the last moment. He had a career high of 13 catches for 186 yards against the Raiders in the regular season finale. Previous career high in catches was just 7, and he hit a previous career high of 118 yards earlier this season against the Cleveland Browns. So the one-on-one matchup with Quentin Johnston could be something to look. So the Texans are in the playoffs, but it doesn't necessarily feel like the same Texans team that got here last season. It's different because the offense is not as good as last year's offense, but the defense has been better than last year's defense. So it sort of cancels out. The offensive line has been most of a disaster for the Texans and had a dramatically negative impact on CJ Stroud. Plus, the AFC North, or actually the AFC South, is just bad this year. But nonetheless, we have 2 good defenses mixed with the fact that these 2 offenses have been rather slow to start off. You get a low-scoring battle. And Stroud has also taken a step back. Less yards, less touchdowns, and more than doubled his interception total. How Stroud improves is a much more difficult question than the question of why he has struggled. The offensive line is awful. They lead the league in pressures allowed and blown run blocking assignments. How to fix it is a harder issue. 3 of the 5 linemen are signed long term. The personnel isn't likely to change much. There could be a free agent left guard, but that's probably it. The best solution? a different offensive coordinator play caller, but I don't know if Texans are going to go with that. If Stroud gets more time, he returns to 2023 Stroud, but I don't know if that even happens as well. For the Chargers, the key to defeating the Texans is to establish the run game. Some teams have been successful doing it, and while they do negate the dangerous pass rush that is the Texans' strength.
So, well, I do need to ask, Alec, are you going to be doing a dual cast tonight, or is it just for this game?
It's just for this game.
Okay. I was kind of hoping the Yinzer would cover the Yinzers.
Well, I'm just not optimistic, honestly.
Understood.
Because the two ways in which we're going with is that we're either beating them in a close game or we're getting blown out. No in between.
Yeah, I hear you. So, I will say though, in this game, most likely whoever wins this game will face the Chiefs, and if I have to take my pick, I want the Texans to win.
So as we are back here for the start of the third quarter, is Joe Mixon up the middle on the first play. Momentum is flipped from the Chargers side to the Texans side, as this is 5 yards on the run by Mixon. So Houston has the lead there, 5-2 in the wild card round. Interestingly, Ian, every single one of their wild card games has been on the Saturday 4:30 slot Eastern Time.
That is interesting.
Kate Stover in the game as the backup tight end in the place of Dalton Schultz. It's another handoff for Mixon. This time he gets swallowed up. Pona Ford holds him at bay at the line of scrimmage, and he'll set up 3rd and 5. It's something that the Texans have been, the third down on conversions have been something the Texans have been getting going at as of late. Let's see if it can be sustained or if it's just a flash in the pan. So 2 minutes in, the Texans, they have started 0 for 4 on 3rd down, but they have converted every 3rd down ever since. 54 yards and a touchdown after being 17 yards on the first 4 3rd downs of this game. Stroud, Chargers send the blitz, up for the middle, caught, and on the run is Collins, at the 40, at the 30, hold down, at the 24-yard line. Electrifying here in Houston, 41 yards for Nico Collins. Big ones there. Stroud beats the pressure and delivers a dot to Collins at midfield. He spins out Derwin James with Aloy Gilman staying with him. Stroud was hit as he threw the ball by Deion Henley as well. 5th catch for Collins. 109 yards on the day for Collins so far. Stroud, could this be a trick play for Joe Mixon? No, it's not. Flag is down. Flags fly in after the matter of fact. The Chargers have it. Tony Jefferson recovered. The ball was loose. And now we'll sort out this penalty, which can determine this play. A strip and recovery by Tony Jefferson. Right after the big play by Nico Collins. The hold is on Blake Fisher, but Jefferson knocked the ball out of Mixon's hands and recovers. He was retired last season when the Baltimore Ravens were professional football. Took part in their front office, but now back in action. He helps the Chargers get back the ball. This is Mixon's first lost fumble in his last 1,082 touches. And now the Chargers have it. This is the third turnover of the game by the Texans. Yet they're still leading 10-6. .2:10 into the second half. Chargers get set. They've been looking rather sluggish. Did a halftime speech by Jim Harbaugh galvanize them? Or is it not going to have any effect? Scott Matlock motions left. He is the fullback as a tight end. Herbert dials one up and finds an open Ladd McConkey. Trying to shake off Derek Stingley, could not. And a flag comes in late. It looks like a face mask. So another twisted turn here. The face mask penalty on Stingley that's going to add 15 yards to the end of the run is the first, and McConkey got the first down nonetheless. 17 yards, and when you factor the penalty, that adds to 32 yards on that gain for the Chargers. The Texans and penalties. I'm telling you, the Texans are one of the least disciplined teams in the NFL. That's back-to-back penalties on them. The whole decline on the fumble recovery by Jefferson. Texans have 5 guys at the line of scrimmage on the defensive line. Chargers switch to a pistol set. And the single back is Gus Edwards. He gets the rock. For the middle. Trying to get a push. 5 yards. As he turned up front for the stop by Eric Murray. It was a lateral pass towards the right side, but there was nobody open up front. It was trickery that not only backfired, it shot right at the Texans' face. It is 2nd and 6 for the Chargers. Just the first playoff meeting between these two clubs. Both teams specialize on defense. It is their strength. McConkey motions to the slot left. 2 guys right. For the middle, it is Edwards again. 4 yards again. They'll set up 3rd and short. They have only 1 third down conversion on 7 tries. And that was the first third down conversion of the game. Let's see what Greg Roman dials up in the second half. This is 11th season as an NFL offensive coordinator. First with the Chargers. The Chargers wearing hats dedicating the Los Angeles Fire Department as they are currently fighting the wildfires. Edwards is met. At the line of scrimmage, Azeez Al-Shaair. It's going to be a short run for Edwards, but he was met at the line of scrimmage. Jim Harbaugh wanted a spark. This part the field. And Harbaugh wants to risk it here on 4th and 2. You would expect this from Dan Campbell. But Jim Harbaugh is no stranger to it. Up front is Scott Matlock. He is passing up on the long field goal. Herbert on the play fake. On 4th down towards the right side. Johnston, he's short. Stingley held him at bay. And the Texans will take over. He read the route at the right side and made sure that Johnston did not get the first down. Did not get a lot of that one. And D'Amico Ryans pumped up. And the Texans taking over. 10-10 to go in the 3rd quarter. Going to break. So that's for the Texans as we're looking at them on what to see in this second half. Of course, we know about what they could do. There are several questions to be asked about the Texans. About what needs to be done. Of course, Nico Collins is getting a lot of chance to get it early. The Chargers watched the Kobe Myers of the Raiders getting starting hot against Christian Fulton, and it looked like the game was going to be a lot closer. But as we see the Texans take over, well, excellent defense.
I will say, if anything's going to beat the Chargers, I mean, today if anything will beat the Chargers, it will be the Texans defense. I don't trust the Houston offense to score a lot. You know, they don't seem like that team right now with the extensive injury list that they have.
As you look at that list, well, that injury list, it doesn't bode wonders for either side. But the Chargers on 4th and 2, they went for it. Well, they have rolled it an incomplete pass, but nonetheless, I still felt like the Chargers should have taken the points that time around. You have a 52-yard field goal right there for you. You keep Cameron Dicker on the sidelines. What? So the replay center reviewed this for the completion of the pass. They have ruled it incomplete. Not like the Texans do mine, but nonetheless, the Texans take over on the turnover on downs. Johnston didn't catch it. The ball did not survive the ground. Eric Murray was the first to know. The ball popped up and out. And as Johnston was in the process of catching it, it did not survive the ground. Play fake as Stroud rolls left. Now he's going to take off and run. Stroud slides forward. On first down, he takes off for 7 yards. T.R. Tart was the closest Charger. 27 yards was his longest run of the season for the Ohio State product. And he goes down on one knee. They'll mark it as 6 yards that time around, actually, as Justin Herbert wants to review film over the sidelines. 2nd and 4. Right behind is Joe Mixon, wide up in a shotgun set. Faking the toss. Now going to the left. Taking off and running over his Collins. A first down, 6 yards on the catch and run. Nico Collins being elusive. 6 yards on the first run, 7 yards this time around. On the catch and run, took a short hitch route. A quick RPO. And Collins picked up that block over at that left side. Last season, in the postseason, 11 catches, 164 yards. He's a postseason animal. Stroud gets away from the pressure, dances, finds Stover, who bulldozes ahead for a first down. Houston's rolling. In his second half, 11 yards to catch and run for the rookie out of Ohio State, Cade Stover. They were teammates together at Ohio State, Stroud and Stover, so they have a sense of familiarity with one another. Collins was on the other side of that rivalry, a Michigan product, a native of Pinson, Alabama. Speaking of Alabama, that's John Mechie, Alabama product, native of Taiwan. Stroud to the left. He goes back to the tight end sets. Stover again. This time it's 7 yards. And an injured Charger. That is the 5th round pick, Cam Hart. Rookie out of Notre Dame. He is down, sitting on his lap. He's feeling something on his face. He's not okay. He was leading with his helmet. And Hart went down with helmet-to-helmet contact on Stover. It might be a concussion, what it seems, based on the reaction. Stover's being spun by Troy Dye and making a tackle. As the Chargers take a look, we'll step away from coverage. So in the meantime, as we're looking outside the NFL right now, we already have a final score in the NHL. The Florida Panthers tied it late against the Boston Bruins with 3 seconds to go in regulation. But it was the Bruins who won it. David Pastrnak being scored with a game-winning goal off a wild bounce on a 4-on-3 power play with 2 seconds to go in overtime to end a 2-goal day for Pasta. Reinhart finished with 2 goals, both at even strength. He's up to 25 goals on the season. Pasternak's up to 19 on the season. Morgan Geekie, Pastrnak, Oliver Wahlstrom, and Pastrnak again with the Bruins goals. The other Panthers goal from Evan Rodriguez. Each team had a power play goal in the first period. Pastrnak with 2 seconds left to cap off a 3-point day. Jeremy Swayman finished 40 of 43 to showcase that magic that he had the season before and showed the reason why he got paid that large contract. The Ottawa Senators up huge on the Pittsburgh Penguins. 5-0 the final score in the end. 3 goals in that first period. Twice from Shane Pinto. 1 on the power play, 1 shorthanded. Tyler Quevin with the first goal. Drake Batherson on the man advantage in the second period, 41 seconds in. Tim Stützle with his 13th. The last goal of this game. The Buffalo Sabres led by 2 goals. The Buffalo Sabres led by 2 goals earlier against the Seattle Kraken. They gave up 6 unanswered, including 4 in the third period. Sam Lafferty and Jack Quinn the first period. Riker Evans and Andrei Burakovsky tied in the second. There was all Kraken in the third. Oliver Bjorkstrand, Capo Kakko twice, and Brandon Tanev to seal the deal. 6-2 Kraken win. The sun is setting here in Houston with 7:48 to go here in the third quarter. So Cam Hart is taking over to the Charger locker room. 2nd and 3. Handoff left for Mixon. Has a hole. 1-0 of Gilman. Forced out of bounds. Near the 20-yard line. Or past it. Texans in the red zone now. Pushed out of bounds for 15 yards. He was forced out by Gilman. You have a Pro Bowl running back going up against a stellar defense. The ball was placed at the wrong hash marks initially, but they have replaced it. They have gotten everything correct. Mixon again. Splits the gap for the middle. Mixon has hauled down at the 6-yard line. It's tossed down 7 yards. There will be a penalty here. 10-yard penalty on the Texans once again. Discipline is a factor. And the Texans certainly are the opposite of that. It's Titus Howard on a hold. And he clearly held Deion Henley. 2nd-year linebacker for the Chargers. A product of Washington State. And it looked like the Texans were getting 1st and goal. Instead, it's 1st and 20 from the 24-yard line. Less than 7 minutes to go. Stroud on a play fake for Mixon. Dances in the pocket. Going for the end zone for Schultz. Contested. It's intercepted. Derwin James on the run back. Past the 20-yard line. Still going with this. To the 40. He's finally hauled down by Kate Stover. Was he down in the end zone by contact is the question. There is a flag on the play. James got in front of Schultz in the end zone to jump the route. It's a 59-yard interception return out of the end zone. On a contested ball, after the play was over, Joe Mixon has cost the Texans 15 more yards for unnecessary roughness. So Mixon on the return back by James. After the matter of fact, the Chargers will have the ball at the Texans' 31-yard line. Defensive takeaways, the name of the game so far today. Four times by the Chargers, once by the Texans. So Derwin James with the second interception of the day for the Chargers. Dean Leonard had the first one. The lone interception by the Texans being Kamari Lassiter, but that last one was unnecessary roughness on Mixon on Dean Leonard. He gets up and leans on his body. D'Amico Ryans and Joe Mixon wanted to clarify that penalty. Now they are looking at whether or not James was down by contact in the end zone from Dalton Schultz. Either way will be the charge of the ball. We'll be back in a moment. Defensive turn of events as the play that was being intercepted, Derwin James tried to secure it. The question was if the ball survived the ground in the end. So the turn here is if James had firm control and ended up not having firm control. So they were reviewing the play. The drive's still alive. So the ball did not survive the ground. CJ Stroud's pass ended up being incomplete. And a sigh of relief for the Texans. But not entirely. The penalty will stand as called. For Joe Mixon, it's 15 yards, the penalty. He'll be forced at the Charger 24. The ball is now at the 39-yard line because of the penalty. It is now 2nd and 30. The play was done. The ball is now at the 39-yard line. The Texans getting backed up by stupid penalties. That is the one thing you do not want. 6:51 to go in the third quarter. And Land Clark's crew is certainly not having any of it with the Texans. If you want to let them play out, don't commit stupid penalties. Unfortunately, the Texans fell for that. 2nd and 30. Shotgun set. It is Stroud. Needing 30 yards to get a first down. He's going to take off and roll with it. Lunges in front over to the 30-yard line. Another flag is down. If you haven't guessed by now, it's against the Texans. A hold against Blake Fisher, the rookie right tackle. So the rookie out of Notre Dame is called for the hold. Clear grab at that right side on Pona Ford. Took all the attention to the officials at that right side. It's now 2nd and forever. 2nd and 40. If you can believe any sort of thing that's happening here, the Texans need to get to the Charger 9-yard line for a first down. Free play here for the Texans. Joey Bosa's offside. Stroud towards the left. And the jump ball for Collins. Incomplete, but they'll take the yardage. Bosa is offside. The Chargers should be... the Chargers getting bit by that as Bosa jumped offside. Just a second penalty against the Chargers on the day. He'll get 5 yards back. Texans have 8 penalties for 86 yards. As Bosa jumped offside, the ball was in and out of the hands of Nico Collins. He did not secure possession. 2nd and 35. It's still 2nd and forever here for Houston. Chargers trying to get something out of this one. Trying to make up for that incompletion. Stroud will dump it off. Gets rid of it over to Joe Mixon. Stumbles a bit as he was shoestring for 1 second. And gets held up. 13 yards before the stop by Tarheeb still. And Mixon's going to sub out. Justin Herbert is getting set in the event that the Texans don't get anything out of this. You have to move more yardage here if you were to get this more makeable for Kaimi Fairbairn. In all likelihood, you're setting up for a field goal situation for Fairbairn, and this field is significantly reduced. Ogunbowale motions towards the left side, all the way to the left. 3 left and 2 right. Stroud, quick hitter, on a slant. Collins. And he gets more range for Fairbairn to have an easier field goal. It's actually Deontay Johnson, 82, in the deep steel blue. And Fairbairn's going to march out there. The quick hitter on the slant for Johnson. Much more line receiver for the Texans, who's been part of 3 different teams this year. The Panthers, the Ravens, and now the Texans. Fairbairn hit his first field goal from 41 yards out. This one is from 37 yards at the right hash. With less than 5 minutes to go, it's actually over the middle, not the right hash. Down the middle. And it's perfect for Fairbairn. It's all Texans. They have scored 13 unanswered points so far. 13-6 they lead. Derwin James fought out an interception, but no can do. Not so fast. Chargers have the ball up next. Astrodome right next to NRG Stadium. So the Texans playing over at NRG Stadium. This was the site of last year's national championship game and the Final Four the year before in March Madness. This year's the site of the first playoff game in this year's NFL playoffs. So as we go on along here, we have some fans here with the slime hats, as the Nickelodeon cast is also underway. 4:48 to go here in the third quarter. It's Fairbairn sends it off. And back deep, this will be returned for the Chargers. It is at the landing zone. Past the 25, Darius Davis. He is good to go. Forced out at the 28-yard line. So the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominees for the Chargers and Texans. Cameron Dicker for the Chargers. Jalen Petrie for the Texans. To get Ian back on here. So far, it's been...
Sorry about that. My coworker was on the phone for almost the entire third quarter.
A call? Was it?
Yeah. They were on the phone, so I wasn't going to be able to talk. But, interesting development here. Texans have a 7-point lead.
Yep, a field goal by Kaimi Fairbairn extend the lead to 7. Chargers can still tie it or take the lead if they choose to, but this is a first stop here at the line of scrimmage by Eric Murray. JK Dobbins gets stuffed. So it's been all Texans. The momentum has completely shifted here in this building. Getting several looks at Matt Burke, the defensive coordinator. Down by 7. After that Fairbairn field goal, Davis motions left and then back right. Someone might have moved early. No flag is down. Herbert swings it out for Davis. Davis tries to take off but gets stopped. And the ball may have came loose, but Davis might have been down by contact. The Texans were charged to get the ball, but Davis was down by contact from Stingley. The last time they were out there on this field here at NRG Stadium, they gave up over 400 yards to the Ravens. But now they're imposing dominance here, limiting the Chargers to 152 total yards. Herbert on 3rd and 6. It's an empty set. 2 right and 3 left. Herbert taking his time with this. Now he's running out of time. Judo flip down. Danico Autry leads the way up the middle. And that'll be another punt for J.K. Scott. This Texans defense is alive. It's alive. Autry is more of a run blocker than a pass defender. But that time he gets up for the middle and bulldozes his way through. Previously was with the Indianapolis Colts. Now with the Texans on the other side of the AFC South. Scott kicks it off. And back deep is Robert Woods with no intention of returning it. He signals for the fair catch. And the Texans in good field position here at the Houston 37. Well, Nate Burleson, SpongeBob, and Patrick are at the Nickelodeon cast. And last we saw at the Nickelodeon cast, a little cameo from Sonic the Hedgehog and company. And Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, and Evan Washburn are getting slimed as we speak. It's coming in hot. 2:33 left in the third quarter. CJ Stroud wants to lead this Texans offense to the end zone once again. They're up 13-6. Mixon leads through the left. He goes down after 5 yards on a stop by Deion Henley and Troy Dye. 2nd and 5. And as Sonic Free releases on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital on the 21st, officially we have 10 days left on the spoiler period. So I'm not going to reveal any information about how any is such until the end of the spoiler period. Dalton Schultz motions around left and right, the former Dallas Cowboy. And the run was blown up from the get-go. Tony Jefferson gave Mixon absolutely no room to run. He was stopped as he got the ball immediately. It was set up 3rd and 9. So Cam Hart, initially we thought it was a concussion in which he exited the game. They instead deemed it as a shoulder injury. The 5th round pick out of Notre Dame is questionable to return. Both teams both teams faced a 3rd down situation 9 times. The Chargers converted just once. The Texans forced them. Stroud dances up and gets it off to Collins. Blown up as he caught it. Henley made sure he got no space. And I was set up a 3 and out situation with Tommy Townsend punting. The former Kansas City Chief is now the lowliest guy in the Texans locker room now.
Yep, and let me know how it goes, because usually he booms these.
So Henley forced that 3rd down stop. The Texans now 4 of 10 on 3rd down. It's a defensive game for both sides. Townsend boots it. This is going to sail towards the left side, out of bounds. We'll see where it landed out of bounds. They'll say it around the 28-yard line, just shy of that NFL wildcard logo. So to help those affected by the California wildfires, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS or go to redcross.org/NFL. We're thinking about all the victims of the Los Angeles wildfires and praying for all of them at these times. But we can also help them as well.
Yes, sir. Not a very good punt.
You can also visit my.americares.org and greatergood.org for California wildfire relief. Not a good punt for Townsend, as you mentioned. It's not easy transitioning from one serious topic to what's going on the field. 21 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. Chargers have the ball. They have not scored since the 1st quarter. Herbert directing traffic. Intercepted! Over the head of McConkey. This will be taken back for 6 by Eric Murray.
Eric Murray, another former Chief. Unbelievable. Wait, are we sure? Or is it confirmed?
It is pandemonium here in Houston as there was pressure coming in from all angles on Justin Herbert. And indeed it is the former Chief Eric Murray who intercepted it on an overthrow over Ladd McConkey. The 2nd straight wild card game in which they have a pick 6. This year it is Murray. Last year was Christian Harris, and Fairbairn nails the extra point. A pick 6 by Murray. And all of a sudden, Houston is buzzing. The second interception of Justin Herbert in this game. He was picked up earlier by Kamari Lassiter. And this time, Murray gets a hold of the left. 38 yards to the house by Murray. How about another joke, Murray? And now it's 20-6 Houston with 13 seconds to go in the third quarter. Herbert picked off twice in this game, has a pick six, one of his worst outings so far. Has not thrown an interception on the road in a long while. He's just thrown 2 interceptions on the road. In this brutal stat line, 10-24 for 118 yards, 2 pick sixes, and no touchdowns. A definition of a defensive statement by the Texans. And Herbert will try again to make up for this. He has thrown 3 interceptions in all regular season long on 504 pass attempts. Here, he has 2 interceptions on 24 pass attempts, one of them being a pick six, and has a passer rating of 22.6. Easily his worst outing of the season. One of the biggest games of his young career, and it's not looking good. As Tucker Fisk is lining up as a second fullback. Gus Edwards is mauled and is pile driven onto the ground by one of the Texans defenders. That being Henry Toto after 2 yards, and that ends the third quarter. A disaster and a half by the Chargers on those last possessions, but D'Amico Ryans and Matt Burke are the ones that are the most fired up on an Eric Murray pick six. That fourth quarter is next. Yes, we're at the 7 o'clock slot of NHL games. We'll have to take a look at what is going on right now. 3 games underway as of right now. The Lightning and Devils, Ducks and Flyers, Blues and Blue Jackets. Set to be underway soon are the Canucks and Maple Leafs, Stars and Canadiens, Oilers and Blackhawks, and Avalanche and Jets. Those are the games in the 7 o'clock slate Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Central Time. Those games of intrigue being Canucks and Leafs, Avs and Jets, to name the 2 of them. Lightning and Devils is another game of intrigue. Silently, Blue Jackets and Blues has caught my attention. And meanwhile, in the NBA, we have 3 games that are postponed. 2 of them because of the Los Angeles wildfires, and 1 because of the winter storm in the South. Lakers and Spurs, Hornets and Clippers are postponed because of the Los Angeles wildfires. Rockets and Hawks postponed because of the winter storm in the South. Game set to take place at State Farm Arena. In the later stage of the game, the Jazz and Suns. Suns up 102-93, looking to put the game away. Bradley Beal was removed from the starting lineup for the Suns. And he's sent to the bench. And inserted in the place is Ryan Dunn. Tyus Jones is not at a point, but he does have 6 assists. This game has to be blowing my mind. This was an outcome I wasn't even expecting. The Texans, for as dead as they looked on the water, have scored the last 20 points on this game. 10 points each in the second and third quarters. A field goal in each quarter and a touchdown in each quarter. 1 offensive in the second quarter. A defensive touchdown in the third quarter. Nico Collins and Eric Murray, the touchdowns. The Chargers have no touchdowns to speak of. On 2nd and 8, Herbert through the middle finds McConkey. 11-25 so far for Herbert on the game. That is good for 12 yards for Herbert. And McConkey, that's a reliable connection at time round. It's actually 10 yards. Murray, who had the pick 6 last time around, with the tackle. And the Chargers, they need to go up-tempo. They need to score 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. Figured this was going to be more of a 20-13 type of game. Scott Matlock motions back to the fullback spot. It's a play fake for Dobbins. Herbert steps up and fires a bullet, and it's caught in Texans territory by McConkey. 19 before the tackle by Stingley. It's one of those throws in which it is a reminder of what Justin Herbert can be made of. And a reminder that he is still alive in this ball game. And there's some sign of life. That's McConkey's 7th catch. That's off the hands. And for the third time, Herbert's picked off. Derek Stingley Jr. hurdles over a man. Will this be another pick six? It will not. Dobbins stopped Stingley from reaching the end zone. On a drop pass by Will Dissly. And drop pass woes continue for the Chargers. Not just Quentin Johnston, but it has also affected Dissly. And D'Amico Ryans knew he wanted another touchdown. And Derek Stingley almost had another house call. That's his 6th interception of the season. Every interception by the Texans has been for defensive backs. Lassiter being the first one, the rookie out of Georgia. Then it was Eric Murray, the former Kansas City Chief. Now Derek Stingley gets on the board. On the first play from scrimmage, Joe Mixon trying to take this home. He is shy of the end zone, but gets 9 yards as he was stopped by Derwin James and Aloy Gilman. Houston's pumped and ready for the divisional round for a second straight year in the CJ Stroud era. 2nd and 1 as they were powering their way through. In the last 3 series, the Texans setting up these walk-ins and shots by means of defensive takeaways. That's the 3rd time he has picked off. Plays blow dead. So, for some reason, the play is blown dead, and fans and players and coaches alike are trying to figure out what is going on with the mysterious stoppage. I'm even trying to figure out what is up with the stoppage here. All right, you're welcome. The clock is being reset to 13 minutes and 2 seconds. It is now 2nd and 1. So, a clock issue was the reason for the whistle. But Jim Harbaugh, for as excellent of a season as he has coached, may see the ride end here. As sad as it may be. 2nd and 1 as the Texans get set to capitalize on another Chargers drop pass. Play fake. Stroud wants a second touchdown pass. Not this time around. Khalil Mack with a deuce on the sack department. 8-yard loss. And Stroud wanted to get a hero play.
You know, Alex, look, anything's possible with the Chargers offense, but 2 back-breaking interceptions and a 17-point, a potential 17 or 21-point lead for the Texans. I don't know, man. That's a tall ask.
I feel this game may be coming to an end rather quicker than we expected, as that pass was low towards that left side for Joe Mixon. It'll be a field goal nonetheless, but the Texans are in comfortable position to advance to the divisional round. They have never been to an AFC Championship game, and given expectations, we don't expect it to be at that spot, but this has got to be the best that Houston has felt this season.
Well, considering what what they suffered, like what they lost during the regular season, we did not expect this from the Texans.
As Fairbairn drills his third field goal of the game, this time from 30 yards out the left hash. We certainly did not expect this as we are headed over to break. We did not expect this outcome at all, that the Texans up by 17 on the Chargers, 23-6. We expected this to be more of a closer battle, but not this. Let's take a look at some of the outside scores. All the games are underway in the NHL. And in the opening minute, the Winnipeg Jets are on the board. Nikolai Ehlers, a minute and 8 seconds into the Jets match against the Colorado Avalanche. The Jets strike first blood. Oof. Year 5, and you have 2 bad playoff performances. And no playoff wins. You'd wonder right now, Ian, what the pundits are going to say about Justin Herbert now.
Well, with 2 interceptions, very likely, well, he's gonna get deemed as he should. I think First Things First did a segment on this game. They said if Justin Herbert goes out and he balls out, but the defense screws it up, it will be the defense that gets blamed. But I think now with 2 interceptions, yeah, Herbert's going to be the one criticized as he should.
Yeah, I don't blame the pundits for doing that. Given the circumstances, this is a playoff game, and this is one of the brightest stages of the NFL. You do not want to pass up an opportunity to go down, and so far, we're seeing that happen. He is just seeing the lights being brighter than he expected. Night has fallen here in Houston, and we see these incredible shots of the Houston skyline. I got to take some drone shots over the Houston skyline in one of my visits to Houston. That was last summer, by the way. But that Houston skyline is beautiful. Took the footage from the Buffalo Bayou Park. Trip on the road on the line, potentially to either Kansas City or Baltimore, depending on the outcomes of these next 2 days. Kneel down at the end zone, but the trip to Baltimore is only in the case if, and I mean this, if the Bills, they falter against the Broncos and lose. But a trip to Buffalo may also be on the line. The Steelers pull off the impossible tonight. Monday we'll have coverage of the Rams and Vikings. Then thinking Wednesday could be the Oilers and the Wild. Justin Herbert's thrown 3 interceptions in this game. Here he is with pressure from Anderson. Mowed him down. Herbert stood there like a statue. There had to be a complete miscommunication of this offensive line because Joe Alt blocked the wrong guy, Henry Tutu, on this blitz. And that left Will Anderson Jr. unblocked on that right side. Just stop it here. Use the mercy rule something because Herbert is getting mowed again. It's time from Edwards. Back-to-back sacks from the Texans have the Chargers backing up well deep. They need something. It's a loss of 9, and it's the former Las Vegas Raider, Mario Edwards Jr. One side to the other. Maybe a sack split between Edwards and Danielle Hunter. Chargers backed up to the tune of 3rd and 26. The 3rd and 4th times that Herbert has been sacked. Herbert is stepping up, firing a dime towards the middle. Ladd McConkey may break free. McConkey on his way. Touchdown Chargers. They overcome back-to-back sacks, and on 3rd and 26, it's a house call. 86 big ones.
Okay, they're not dead yet.
Undertaker sits up. McConkey leads the way on a dime by Justin Herbert, and he showcased his talent. And on a day that's one to forget for Herbert, he throws a dime to Ladd, the Rad Lad. 11-point game could be a 10-point game pending the extra point. On the way for Dicker. Oh, this was blocked! Dicker has it knocked away, picked up by D'Angelo Ross. Ross on the run back, running back with this one. Make it 2. The kick was blocked by Derek Barnett, and D'Angelo Ross, who blocked a punt earlier in the game, has made this 25-12. Defense has been alive for the Texans today. And it's been all over the place here. As while they gave it a touchdown, Frank Ross has to be a happy man. His special teams unit living their best life today. As we go to break, McConkey in a touchdown. Ross on the blocked extra point return up into the air off of Derek Barnett, who had the only sack of Super Bowl 52. Whew. What a turn of events.
Oh, boy. I mean... oh, God. Alec, this was a great game, but good Lord. If the next game versus with the Ravens versus the Steelers is any more ridiculous than this, oh, ladies and gentlemen, it will be the greatest game.
Deus Ex Machina reigns supreme again.
You know what? If it's ridiculous and close throughout the game, just, you know what? Treat greatest game, but it will be greatest game, the greatest game of Days of Our Steelers.
Oh, goodness. Man. Whew. But this game...
Okay, Alec, I have to ask, are we in scoregami right now?
Alright, we'll have to check the scoregami tracker. We'll see what it is here. This game has a 19.79% chance of ending in a scoregami. The most likely outcome for scoregami is if the Texans score another touchdown and convert an extra point. That is our most likely scoregami. 32-12 is the most likely scoregami. And for those wondering about a 25-12 final score, this 25-12 final score has happened 3 such times. The first such occurrence was in 1930 between the New York Giants and the Chicago Cardinals. Then in 1986, between the NFL's oldest rivalry, the Packers and the Bears. The most recent occurrence of a 25-12 final score was the Colts and the Buccaneers. The Colts won that game in 2015, November 29th. All of the Buccaneers' points came from Connor. 6 of the Buccaneers' points came on Connor Barr field goals. As Dicker sends this up, the Texans need a touchdown, an extra point for Scorigami. Returning at the left side, I believe that was Xavier Hutchinson on the return back. So as playoff matchups are set, we'll have to see how this unfolds up throughout for me to determine what playoff matchups I will cover next weekend for the divisional round and which conference championship game I will cover. So Derek Barnett got a hand on the ball for the block. It was a live ball by Den that made a 25-12 lead for the Texans. Hutchinson motions towards the right side. Second-year man from Iowa State. Play fake. Then a swing pass for Kate Stover, a teammate of Stroud's at Ohio State. Got it to the 31, 5 yards. And speaking of Ohio State, an all-time turnaround season for OSU. A season marked by drama. Now they're in the national championship game, led by Will Howard and Ryan Day, with Day coaching for his job. He knows his job was at stake, and he coached this season of his life. So live ball as Dicker deflected it, and it went over to D'Angelo Ross. 2nd and 5. The fullback is Stover. Here is Mixon. Mixon cuts around. Mixon has a first down. 9:45 left in the fourth quarter. And really, the only thing that we're really rooting for is Scorigami. So CJ Stroud, it's a quarterback Houston can definitely trust even before his second-year struggles. But even for the offense taking a step back this year, the defense took a leap forward. It's still a 2-score game nonetheless. The Chargers trail by 13. Here's Mixon. Does not find any room on one area. Then finds room on the right side. Slowed down by Christian Fulton. 9 minutes to go. Fulton brought down Mixon at their right side. All the Texans can really do is run. Run the ball. Just do that and they're good. Get some live updates over the NHL in the meantime. The Blackhawks, Flyers, and Devils each have scored alongside the Canucks among the scoring teams so far. It's 1-0 in each one of those games. 2nd and 4. 1-0 in each of those games, minus Blue Jackets, Blues, and Stars and Canadians. At the left side is Stover. Mixon gets the rock again. Mixon slowed up, but has an extra push. Gets 2 yards. So you take a look at the scorers for each one of these games. For the Canucks, it is Brock Besser with his 15th. Tyler Myers and Elias Pettersson the assists. The Devils get one from Andre Palat, his 10th of the year. Victor Hedman answers, ties the game at 1. Nick Paul with an assist. And on 3rd down and 1, the Texans can convert this one. Stroud directing traffic. Joe Mixon motions to the right of Stroud. It's 3rd and 1.5. Mixon gets another handoff, and it's a first down across midfield. So Mixon accelerates through. Does that job nicely. Flyers lead 1-0. Morgan Frost with the goal. And the Blackhawks on the board. That is courtesy of Teuvo Teravainen from Jason Dickinson and Nick Foligno, the former Carolina Hurricane. Mixon does have a fumble lost, 18 rushes for 70 yards, but Mixon has come alive here as of late. They're giving a rock to him this late in the game. 108 rushing yards in total for the Texans. Mixon again, runs into Tunsil, gets 2 yards out of this. Stuffed at the 45-yard line. And as we get onto the final score at Phoenix, It's 114-106. The Suns winning. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, of course, leading the way, with Booker accounting for 34 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists for Durant. 2 steals for Booker as well, 2 each for Oso Yodaro and Grayson Allen. So you get back into action here, 2nd and 8. And Mixon is met. Absolutely met at the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2. So my Discord may be acting up. Everything is fine over Twitter Spaces. Just my Discord is disconnected. But have to on live replay on both sides. Recording. 3rd and 10. It's Mixon subs out. Jesse Minter wants to get the place up defensively for the Chargers, so as to hold the Texans at bay. 3rd down 10 here. Here's Stroud being flushed out towards the left side. Stroud, touched by Fulton, did not get the first down. This score is back up top. He might be touched before he got the first down, and Stroud, he wants that first down. Though he was touched right before he got the first down. Gets this up front as he was running with this ball, scrambling with it. 9 yards officially. They don't need to go for it on 4th down, but if they want to put more insult to injury, they can likely do that. D'Amico Ryans is going to use his challenge flag. Now, as time run and down to 4:48, Ryans used the challenge flag, arguing on the basis that Stroud, he was in position to get the first down as he was rolling. And if this challenge fails, what do you do if you're the Texans?
Oh, remind me again what yard line they were on.
So, it looked like C.J. Stroud protected this football. He was touched by Christian Fulton and looked to be down on one knee. The question is the spot of the football. Whether if he was at the first down marker, reached out just enough, or if he did not get there right on time. That's what they're figuring out. I think Stroud got the first down.
Well, what yard line would that be in case they fail? In case the challenge fails?
If the challenge fails, they'll be at the Charger 38. If it succeeds, they'll be at the Charger 37.
All right. Say it fails. You gotta kind of be fair, man. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I say, this late in the game, just go ahead and let him swing the leg. Go ahead and go up by 16, make it virtually impossible for the Chargers to tie it. Don't try anything clever and fail to convert.
Right, so the ruling is that it is short of the first down, and while fans don't like it, you're not risking much here because you have control of the ball, you have control of this game, momentum's on your side, and you're up by 13 points. Everything's pointing to a favorable spot for the Texans.
Just go ahead and go up by 16.
So you can go up by field goal, or if they're at the 38, from this spot it'll be a 56-yard field goal. But D'Amico Ryans is passing up on that. It's very long for a field goal, but at the same time, it's too short for a punt. Would they try to sneak it? They will. It's a first down.
Oh, and with that, that's all, folks. Maybe. No, it's not. No.
Not really, but it virtually is. Oh, and by the way, the Chicago Blackhawks have a special guest on the goal horn. former Team USA goalkeeper Tim Howard.
Wow. That's high profile. Oh, by the way, you'll never... So, Alec, where I work at a hotel, right? I won't say which one for obvious reasons. But I met a former defensive back, a Hall of Famer.
You did?
Does the name Aeneas Williams ring a bell?
Kind of.
Go ahead and look him up. His accolades are impressive.
Aeneas Williams for...
But he got close.
The Chargers, they called timeout with 3:58 left, but that was after a mean stiff arm by Joe Mixon. Wow. This defensive matchup is... Whew. But Aeneas Williams, yeah, I'm looking it up right now. He played 14 seasons in the NFL. Played college football for the Southern Jaguars. Selected in the third round by the Phoenix Cardinals. Played 10 seasons. His final 4 years, he played with the St. Louis Rams. Never won a Super Bowl with them, but he received 8 Pro Bowl selections and 3 first-team All-Pro. You met him? The foot stays upright for Joe Mixon. And on first down, Houston's still rolling. They have all the momentum. 4 minutes and 1 second. The clock is reset. And the Chargers, they deemed that Mixon was out of bounds. The Chargers decided not to use their timeout. But because of that, it felt like a de facto timeout, as Mixon was out of bounds. Shy of the first down, it seems. They are looking at this extensively. Now, right at the first down, 10 yards exact. At the 26-yard line, in Charger territory. Mix again. Just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Junior Colson, the tackler. Rookie out of Michigan and a native of Jamaica. So now the Chargers use their timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout for the Chargers. With 3:58 to go.
Sorry, I had to help the customer. But yes, I did meet Aeneas Williams. I gotta tell you, do you know what they used to call him? His nickname was the Phoenix.
Yeah, he played for the Cardinals for a long time. It was at the time when the Cardinals played at Phoenix. Locations can be a little twist of nicknames. So it's been nothing but inside runs all around for the Texans as they get out this timeout. So far, 42 rushing yards on the quarter for Joe Mixon in the fourth quarter. See, one of the lowest scoring games of this playoffs. 2nd and 9 as Mixon is lined up in an I formation. He gets the rock, goes towards the left side. Gets 2 yards out of this. And the Chargers use another timeout. Aloy Gilman on the tackle. With Dayon Henley. Set up 3rd and 9. Texans don't need a touchdown. But if they do score a touchdown, it'll be a potential scoregami at the end of the day. So later tonight, Steelers-Ravens at Baltimore. And tomorrow begins with Broncos-Bills at Buffalo. Then the middle game being Packers-Eagles at Philadelphia, and the late game Commanders-Buccaneers at Tampa Bay. Lowest remaining seed in the AFC playoffs faces the Chiefs. The remaining two teams will go up against each other.
And for tonight, and for the game there tonight, Alec, is you'll permit me, and pardon my language, but the bullshit will be unbelievably real.
Third and 9. With 3:52 as Deontay Johnson enters the game. Also motioning left, Robert Woods mixed it with a seam. Trying to plunge forward for the first down. He is close, but is 1 yard shy. 8 yards on the run. Mixon's arguing he has the first down. But, nonetheless, we will be seeing the Chargers use their final timeout either way. Clearly short that time around as Mixon was stopped as he was lunging forward. Troy Dye and Tony Jefferson both combined. If he got forward a little more, then it would have been more for Mixon. 4th and 1. Texans have 2 timeouts. Chargers have no timeouts left. And Herbert coming off his worst performance. Short yard situation for the Texans. Going to be a gimme one. We'll have to see. Kylie Fairbairn is staying put over at the sidelines. They're trusting Joe Mixon a lot on this drive. It's a lot of rushing plays. They're playing keep away from the Chargers throughout this drive. Bunch set. Here's Mixon to the left of a hole, of a seam, trying to reach the end zone. He does! The Texans on the cusp of the divisional round.
Woohoo! Hang on, let me see if I can pull this. Hang on, let me see if I can do the voice. My lord, a glorious victory will soon be yours.
There you go. So yeah, Joe Mixon, 17 yards out, got the pylon inside. Did he step out of bounds at any point? What's the question? No, he did not. And the extra point from Fairbairn for the left hash. It's perfect all the way through. A scoregami within sight. It's 32-12. Third touchdown of the day for the Texans. 2 of them offensive, 1 of them defensive. As Joe Mixon powered through on the run to the left side. 17 yards for a dagger. He is now up to 48 yards. He's now up to 106 yards rushing on the day with 1 touchdown on 25 carries, averaging 4.2 yards a carry. CJ Stroud, 4 carries, 44 yards. Mixon being the bell cow here. So it's a lot of momentum towards the Texans' side right after that second quarter, and it's on from there. The 99-yard touchdown drive set the stage for them to go on to potentially onto the road for the divisional round, and they can just taste glory. For right now, they have never gone to the AFC Championship game ever in their franchise's 23-year history. But Joe Mixon, in his first year as a Houston Texan, might just be named the Slime Time MVP. Might be.
You know what? It's funny because actually, wait. I forgot what I was going to say, but it was going to be good. Maybe. I don't know. But the point is, the Texans win. Chargers are eliminated. Right now, the Texans could be the lowest seed if things go pear-shaped for the Steelers and the Donkeys.
And Quentin Johnston dropped another pass. It went off the top of his hands. Yikes.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Wash, rinse, repeat. Next.
They got 9 yards on the first catch, 3rd and 1. This next one is half a yard, though. It is Hassan Haskins. He does have a first down, but there's nothing really for the Chargers left. But nonetheless, he mentioned about Tim Howard being in attendance. I'm not going to say who invited Shadow to being part of the crowd over at NRG Stadium as this pass gets broken up. 2:55 to go. The whistle was never blown, but they chased after the ball. But there's the whistle. I don't think they called it an incomplete pass. They let that one play out. We'll see what it was. It's Herbert. It might have been incomplete unless we're seeing something else, but Tim Howard in attendance for the Blackhawks game. 2nd and 10 here for the Chargers. Game is all but over for them. Herbert looks, airs this deep, fighting DJ Chark, but picked up again for the 4th time on the day. 2nd one for Derek Stingley Jr. And that is all for the Chargers. The Chargers' playoffs hopes ending at the hands of a scoregami.
Well, Alec, I believe we need 3 words, if I may.
F you, Spanos!
You, Spanos! Woo! There we go.
Of course, it's going to be one of the most memorable performances for the Texans in their franchise's brief history in the franchise's history in the wild card round. On the way to a 6th win in such games. Austin DeKillis is an extra offensive lineman. He reported eligible. All the Texans really have to do is run down the rest of the clock. They ran that first play, which went for 2 yards for Dameon Pierce. They checked Stingley out. And so, several starters have stayed, but they don't need to have the rest of their starters here. But Pierce, who was touted as the future RB1 of the Texans a while back, now being the 3rd running back on this group, they're having an emotional embrace over the sideline. 2-minute warning here. 2nd and 8 as we step away from the action. But Houston is in party mode now. The Texans 2 minutes away from going on the road to face either the Chiefs, Bills, or Ravens, or, heavens forbid, hosting the Steelers.
If they host the Steelers, we know what scenario played out.
Oh, that's...
Let there be chaos.
I mean, the playoffs on all of the stuff. All of the stuff. The chaos reigning supreme. Then again, Sean McDermott has trouble against bald head coaches. And Sean Payton is a bald head coach.
Did you just say bald with SpongeBob around.
Oh,
My eyes!
my eyes! Oh my god. It's even more fitting that it's a Nickelodeon broadcast.
And it's funny you should mention. And it's funny that you should mention Chaos too, because or a character or a few characters that are currently rather significant in the cinema world.
Yeah, you're cutting out. But nonetheless, of course, in cinema, you speak of chaos. Of course, if someone gets something to get the Texans to chaos control their way over to wherever. It's 2nd and 8 as we head back into action. This will be a game to forget for the Chargers, a game to remember for the Texans, as they played a complete game all around. 2nd and 8. Here's Pierce. He will ice it. Gets us to the 48-yard line, and the Texans have won this game. Keeping to win a playoff game in each of their first 2 seasons. You have Ben Roethlisberger, 2004-2005. Joe Flacco in 08 and 09. Mark Sanchez, 09 and 2010. Russell Wilson, 2012 and 2013. Brock Purdy, 2022 and 2023. And now CJ Stroud is about to enter that list. 2023 and 2024. The Texans will take 2 kneel downs here on the way to a victory. There's the first one. It'll be a playoff scoregami. And Joe Mixon fired up. D'Amico Ryans, Coach of the Year snub last year. Thought he got robbed of Coach of the Year last season. On the way taking the Texans to a 10-7 record on the magical season. This year wasn't as spectacular as last year, but defensively, they were outstanding, and they proved as such as they took on the Chargers and pummeled them onto the ground and made them all but a fizzled spark. Here's a second kneel down, shock and awe, H-Town made all throughout the Houston Texans on a playoff scoregami have knocked off the Los Angeles Chargers. A masterclass of a playoff win for the Texans. 32-12. Your final score in scoregami. The 4th seed once again in the playoffs. 6-2 in the wild card round all time. The Texans will head to the divisional round to face either the Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, or Steelers. As we go on to our final statistical outlook for the Texans. CJ Stroud finishes 22 of 33, 282 yards, a touchdown and a pick, or a 90.7 passer rating. Joe Mixon, 25 carries, 106 yards, for 1 touchdown. Nico Collins, 7 receptions for 122 yards and a touchdown. Derek Stingley Jr. with 2 interceptions off of Justin Herbert. Eric Murray with 1 interception. Kamari Lassiter with an interception. Stingley with 5 passes defensed. For Herbert, picked off 4 times, 14 of 32 for 242 yards, 40.9 passer rating. His lone touchdown went to Ladd McConkey, who finished with 9 receptions, 197 yards, and a touchdown. I wanted to get this out for playoffs to get to our 3 stars of the game. Our first star today is Ladd McConkey. Second star. The second star of this game is Nico Collins. And our first star is Derek Stingley Jr. Those are 3 stars today. You could intertwine between Collins and McConkey. You would not be wrong for this match. But that is all from Houston, the Texans, and scoregami fashion of a big win over the Chargers. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I am Alec Nava saying good night from Houston. So long, everyone.